Oh, wait,
Yes.
go on. Let's do an intro.
Ruskeydoo,
Good evening.
Take it away.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the resurgence, like a phoenix from the flames, that is ClassyCast. We haven't been around since that Nations Cup doohickey, but now the next ETF2L season is underway, and we are here to bring you the details of that season from Prem. Maybe a little bit of Div 1. Beyond that, we just don't give a shit.
By the way, Fanny's stream isn't actually like in tune with us at all, like by mouse. So, do we restart the streams quickly?
Wait, is it going to be looking at different bits of the game?
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't we just watch the game on Fanny's stream?
Yeah, we can do that. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Really? Let's do that.
It just makes life a lot interesting. Right?
Okay, sure.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, let's just watch it from Fanny's stream.
But you guys
Also
will
means
miss.
we won't be talking
You
about
guys
any
will miss
action.
the Evokche.
You can
Place.
keep on Evokche
I'll
cam if
be
you
on the
want.
Evokche cam for you guys.
Okay.
You can give us 90 seconds in advance if he's doing
Oh, is
something
it
interesting.
90 seconds? Stickies are invisible on this time, eh?
It's them as old as hell. But yeah,
Sounds about right.
back onto
Cadus,
Oh,
yeah.
Cadus managed
So-
to trade his life for a spy.
Just
Huge
to,
face.
just to brace you for this, I think you may have worked out. We're not strictly going to keep to some kind of driven agenda pushing us forward. But it's not because we're lazy, and it's not because our show notes consist of maybe 9 words. This is because we're trying to give you the gritty, real experience of high-level Team Fortress 2 Highlander. Now, I've introduced myself. I'm Ruskeydoo, the Heavy, and with us today we have this man, Bubblebobbler,
hi.
and this man, Bulow.
Yo,
And this man, Hildreth.
dog.
Ah, hello.
Hi. And in the background, we have Fanny. Big cheer for Fanny.
Hey!
Hey. Okay. So, well, I feel we should get underway with some detail and such, but I think we need someone from Prem to start this off, because, I'm like, I should say at this point, everyone else here's Prem. I'm like the Div 1 correspondent.
But I'm Prem NG, so I mean that's basically like Div 1, or maybe like Div 2 or Div 3.
But your class is the best portmanteau. You're a Prem engineer. No one else can say
True.
that. No one else here can say that.
Was that just an
So I think
excuse
what else
to
we
use the
could
word
get?
portmanteau?
Prevy?
Perhaps.
That's a bit like a privy. That's not so good, is it?
A privy, no. Or Div 1 Ivy.
For our foreign viewers,
I'm on-
privy is an old English word for a toilet. There you go.
Lol.
Anyway,
Exactly.
shall we? What we have on the stream right now is last season's game between SNSD and Paragapers on the X side.
Oh,
And,
Amelia did just say Premo Man in the chat though. I'm sorry, but
Premo
that
Man?
needs some
Oh.
attention.
Get out, Emilio. Get out. Anyway, as I said, this is SNSD versus Paragapers. It was quite an exciting game last season. Of course, our Prem engineer here, Bubblebobbler, was involved. He
Yep.
had his moment of glory. Unfortunately, it's too late. We can't see it anymore because he managed to wrangle someone to death.
Yeah, that was basically it. So it's okay.
He just killed a spy. Update.
Nice.
Sorry though.
So, given that we are watching these two teams that should be going up against each other in a couple of days, Bubblebobbler should know, but he doesn't because he is a fool and still playing for Parakeepers. We should probably start there. So, Bubble, can you tell us what the lineup is going to be for the Gapers this season?
I can guess. We haven't played a game yet, so it could change still. But let me just load up the actual page.
Have you played a PCW?
Are you kidding? We didn't play a single PCW last season. Like not even
Game
before a
third.
game. Yeah, not even before a game or anything. It was like completely ridiculous. But yeah,
How did that work out without any kind of warm-up?
we just went in. Like they kept asking me to schedule warm-ups for them because obviously they're 6v6 players. They don't know the game, the scene, blah blah blah. So they were
Sure,
like, yeah,
they're
just go
lazy.
get.
That's the reality of it. Don't be
Yeah,
fooled.
probably. But they were like, yo, get some PCWs. So I was like, okay, I'll get some PCWs against Kill Switch. They didn't turn up for a single one. I had scheduled like 3 times with Kill Switch. Bit awkward. But yeah, like roster will be probably. I'm just looking now. I'm guessing it'll be Kyler for fun on Scout. Well, it definitely will be. Stark Soldier if nothing changes. Pyro will be Fate Master. Demo will be Huhi. Heavy will be Haunter, NG will be me, Medic will be Evil Moon, Sniper will be Gubbins? I'm
Probably.
gonna say? Yeah, I think it's Gubbins. And Spy will be Trinita.
So that's actually a very different team to what you had last time.
Yeah, a few changes. I think Spy will be in for a few games and stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. Last season we had 2 people permanently merking though, so there was that.
The one thing I've noticed the most about your team is your spy has changed, and your team has got something like 3 new spies on the roster.
Yeah.
Trinita, Synodon.
There's been a bit of drama about Trinita and Fake Master joining. With them being, like, their experience being Div 4 before this. But, I don't know, we'll see.
Or,
like, it's kind of hard to say
some
anything.
accusing Hunter of some kind of nationalistic bias in his choice of players to pick up.
Basically.
But he got you to play, and
Yeah, it's true. But I don't know, like, it's... oh, I see. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's hard to say anything until some games actually get played. Like, there's not much we can say.
I do remember in our first Classic Cast game, or maybe it was the second one, I can't remember, but Portugal were involved, and I remember being very impressed with Trinidad. I remember watching his camera most of the time. It was on Steel.
I watched him, he was good when we watched him play, but like, I don't know, like, it depends if he performs in Prem. Like, it's a bit different from a Nations Cup where it's basically mixes.
Well,
Especially when
I
other teams are
was going to say
practicing
it's
and why
probably
not.
put him in a good stead for Parrot Keepers if he's just expecting me playing in a mixed team.
Yeah, I guess.
But I mean, at the same time, you got to think that, like, it's not like just being in Prem suddenly, you know, makes you a better spy. Like, I can imagine there's some amazing spies that might
No,
play
of
in Div
course.
6, right? I mean,
Of course,
Yeah.
but you got to think. I mean, people are judging him based off of experience, which I think is silly, but whatever. But I'm saying that his only experience up to now is.
He is unproven at this level. But
yeah,
it does
exactly,
Not mean
exactly.
that he is not
Didn't
good enough
he
for this
play
level.
well against Team USA or Team France or something?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He played
That's
against.
on the
He
Steel,
played really well against pretty much all the
unfortunately,
teams. From what I saw.
Either way, it doesn't really matter. Considering who your old spy was, I think it's an upgrade.
He's harsh, and he is watching
You mean
in the stream right now.
Evoke in the chat?
Evoke. It's not that you're a bad
You're
spy,
already
Evoke.
calling people out.
It's not that you were a bad spy, it was more that you were terrible.
just as a disclaimer, we would like to say, as Classicast as a whole, Hildreth's opinions are his own and not held by the Classicast organisation.
Organisation. That's a bit highfalutin
Anyway.
for what this is.
So I think that's an oxymoron.
Yeah, but it's
I
fine.
just want to see if Okje activate his
Hey, we have-
Ringers
we have
by
show notes.
cratering.
We are on the. He's currently faced having a. Died.
Yeah, let's stay on Evoke's cam for a bit.
We can say that he maybe called for that Uber to be popped, something like that. Anyway,
Maybe he contributed a lot in comms, like Harry does. There's an awkward silence now.
Yeah, totally.
but I'm just watching
Bubble.
Bubble. I'm mesmerised by his taking a
Well, I
telephone.
can't
Say
because I'm
teleport
watching
building.
an advert.
Who's going to be like the first up demo man then? Is Who Has going to be first?
Who
or-
has? Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
He
he's
is
actually got Highlander experience and
very
stuff. And he's really, really good.
Very competent.
But then
chap.
again, it depends on if we actually get to play any games, because people have been asked to play games constantly, and then people have been just instantly told that they don't have to play them. So maybe people get pissed off with the bad organisation from Haunter and leave. Who knows?
Probably because the Sixers season's going on.
Yeah, I imagine it's because
Yeah,
it's
indeed.
still ongoing.
Yeah, because we have to
that's-
schedule around Kyler basically, and he's obviously still playing with The Last Resort.
And there's going to be something like 3 weeks of playoffs as well.
Yep.
For TLR anyway, because they're probably going to come second. Going to be
So
fun.
that Evil Moon as well will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we've got to schedule around Roberto scrims as well, although they're not really scrimming anymore currently.
Isn't
But
it
yeah.
not a bit awkward that you've already used one of
One
of
of our
your
wild
wildcards
yeah.
in the first week?
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm going to throw it out now as an opinion. I think this is going to be a tough season for Gapers, because I think maybe last season things were a little bit easier on like some Prem teams. They could get away without putting in the practice and such. But I think with teams like Killswitch, who they have a lot of talented players, and they scrim so goddamn hard now coming up in the Prem. I think, probably going to have to step
honestly,
it
I
up.
won't be surprised. I don't think we will step it up though. I just think that people will be complacent with finishing last or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we can get away with just the eminent, but
Destroy
obviously
SSD.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I mean, obviously, Keepers have a lot of pedigree, like far more than.
yeah,
the
of
other
course.
teams.
But then again, if you look at the Highlander experience, there's experience on me, but I'm in position on engineer, so I can't really call anything on a payload, especially. Haunter's good, but he's playing heavy, like he's tunnel visioned a lot, stuff like that. We've got a sixes medic, basically. We don't have Permzilla making all of our games who's got good experience. So we're just left with like 2 people with experience in awkward positions to call.
Is Haunter main calling?
Don't know yet, honestly.
Is there a main
It's hard
caller?
to say, isn't it?
I
Because
think that's, first match, they'll just play it by ear. Whoever talks the most, main caller, done.
Haunter's always been the type that main calls, though, from his days in TCM.
Oh, when we played,
From a long
when we
time
played
ago.
last season, he was main calling, but we didn't have like a designated main caller. Like we'd have Haunter mostly calling, like me and Permzilla contributing on calls a bit, and then otherwise it would be like Size calling some stuff just because he was in medic. But other than that, like we didn't really have a main caller.
You guys are just massively relying on your deathmatching skills, which will probably do you well in maps like Lakeside or Viaduct or whatever, but when you get to payload maps, I don't know, it could be painful to watch. 5 CP
Well-
maps, you have a good chance.
Let me see who we're actually against. You got to like also think who we're against on each map. We've got
Okay, let's have a
Pandas.
rundown. Let's hear which teams you think you're going to have an easy time with, and who you
I
kind
think
of
it's hard
worried
to say
about.
easy time, but yeah. Okay, I'll have a look.
Where are you identifying? Like, Keepers want to avoid relegation bubble. Where are you going to pick up the 2 wins that will probably ensure
I'd
your
say
survival?
if we're going to win any games, it'll be.
I just want to put it out there,
Legolas?
Legolas versus
Yes.
Parrot Gapers on CP Steel, that has to be watched by everybody.
That is going to be a relegation grudge match. That's going to be
But
crunch.
could you imagine, they have no idea how to play CP Steel, they've never practiced the map. It'll be just like watching a bunch of super high DM players playing a pub server.
There'll be 15-minute times, and Bubble will be sat there with his dispenser trying to tell people what to do.
I remember like the Nations Cup before last, when we like played one match and loads of the people had to download the map before the officials because they'd
God.
never ever played it before. Fun times, fun times.
Anyway, Bubble, tell us where you're
But
picking
yeah,
up these
okay,
points.
so I'm saying Legolas and let me see the shit talk. Probably It's All Good, to be honest.
On upward.
Oh.
On upward.
On upward, yeah.
Oh,
We'd
okay.
be there.
What, even more than Suki?
Yeah.
But they
Well,
might be playing
actually,
Suki
depends.
what map are you playing Suki doing work
We'll
on?
be playing Suki doing work on Lakeside and Gully. Okay, so if we're going to
So
pick up
that's
points,
like
yeah, Suki doing work.
that plays
we
to
probably
DM very
could.
nicely, right? I mean,
Yeah, it depends on how they perform as well, because they've been kind of underperforming recently, I think.
Gapers have got like a hell of a lot of good death matches. What class is that fake master guy playing there?
Pyro.
Oh, where's Quad's gone off Pyro?
Quad isn't playing. He's well, he may like step in for games here and there, but he's not really playing TF2 at the moment.
Quad's the best Pyro.
I
it should be
remember-
noted that Suki doing work were recently beaten by a Div 1 team in UGC.
We can get that later. We'll cover them later.
Yeah,
Give us
we'll
give us
get
some
to
fresh
Suki
insight.
one
Give us some insight.
We should
yeah,
wrap up.
Yes, we should wrap up on Gapers. Then we've
Okay,
done
so yeah,
enough
to
of
wrap it up then, the games that if we're gonna like pick up games, we may just win a lot of our games. Who knows yet? Like we've got to see how they perform because we haven't even scrimmed or anything. But if we end up doing badly, the teams I see us beating it's all good because although it's upward, like we're pretty good at upward
Yeah,
to be
it's
honest.
still a map that has been in Highlander like every single
Yeah.
season, so it's going to
And
be
we-
one of the
we
few
beat,
maps
like-
you will have played a lot. Yeah.
We beat Daratutu pretty easily in the playoff game on upward,
Mm-hmm.
so we've already all of us with a slightly different team, blah blah blah. So we can work on the DM friendly maps and probably Legolas just because they're in the same boat as
Steel.
us.
Yeah.
I think for every team that we're going over here, we should work out what are the odds of them folding before the end of the season.
I am optimistic.
Even if it's low,
Okay.
I don't think there's a high chance that any Prem team's going to fold, but you know, I mean, the folding factor, it's kind of like the drama factor. It's like how much infighting and rage is there going to be if things go badly, and who will explode.
I think the only team that has a chance of folding is us, and I don't know if that'll even happen. Like, it probably won't, to be honest, because we'll probably pull a roster together for every game, if nothing else.
Yeah. And the flip side is, if you're kind of chilled about it, then you're not like massively emotionally invested in each game.
I guess.
I'm looking at the silver lining here. Come on.
How many times will I be asked to merc for you guys during the season?
Don't know. We'll see. Probably never.
Or how many times will Permzilla be asked to merc since he's back up for us this team?
Well, okay, so I've already asked Perm. Like, I had to check provisionally if he'd be able to merc like a ton of our games just in case. And he told me like he'd be willing to merc one here and there if he has to, but he doesn't want to. He's busy. Blah blah blah.
Would now be a good time to talk about the rule change that was kind of instigated by you and Permzilla?
I wasn't added in the end. There was going to be a rule.
It wasn't? That's not...
No.
Oh, wow, okay, so...
There was going to be a rule added about having people merc more than 50% of a team's games, because last season we had me and Permzilla merc 100% of Fargiver's games. But yeah, it wasn't added in the end.
Did our glorious head admin, did he get a Prem medal?
Nah. Well, maybe he got one with some other team. No, he didn't. He was with us. Yeah, I cheekily asked Camfo if I could get a Prem medal for making all of Gaper's games afterwards, and he was like, no. Just shut me down instantly.
Well,
man, that's gold.
Have a shot.
You're guaranteed this one, Ball, if you can hold your ragtag bunch of players together for most of the season.
We will see.
So wait a second, just to check, does that mean that the only person here with a Prem medal is the one person who isn't in Prem?
Whoa, my mind is blown.
Exactly. It's
could be.
That's only because I made him, but yeah. I still have one, you see. I still get one. Just for testing
it's
purposes.
Self-made.
Exactly.
Makes it better.
Just saying. Come on, give me something. I've got to, bolster my ego with something.
Talented and beautiful man. Well done. And
Thank
we
you,
all
thank
appreciate you for
Love me.
taking the time out of your day to make these medals for us. That means so much to so many people.
Evokcho's going huge in this demo. He got 2 kills. I take it back. Get this Janicer guy out and just bring him back.
I think it's time. We've done.
Okay, who are we moving on to now?
We're moving on.
I think SNSD, right?
SNSD.
This is a big one.
The big one, yeah.
The greatest team of all time.
Well, I feel like SNSD is like the last kind of this legacy. Like, they were like one of the original teams, Colony was around, and Colony's now gone the way of the dodo.
We can talk about the death of Colony later.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Hildreth.
What are you looking at me for?
Never mind.
The legacy of SNSD, you were saying?
Yeah, I think...
He's not got anything back for us. Go on, Bubble.
I'm just watching this demo. It's just like a fucking slugfest on the point on overtime. Jesus.
I
don't know, has anything changed for SNSD since last season, essentially?
So their lineup's changed pretty heavily, so...
Slightly.
Yeah, well, pretty heavily. So one of the, I guess, 4 players from the Ducks, since we folded, well, kind of folded, like 3 TF2L at least.
Semi-folded.
Yeah, exactly.
On hiatus.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. On hiatus. 4 players... I guess 5 if you include Steve, but he wasn't really he was playing UGC with us, but he wasn't really like a member necessarily.
Not an old school duck.
Yeah, you could say, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, like 4 or 5 of us in Prem now. There's me, there's Rit, there's Fenrir, and there's Steve. And then there's Ruskeydoo in Div 1, which is,
It's just still make the cut.
Carry on.
You say?
Yeah, wasn't good enough, whatever. But yeah,
I'm interested in how you're going to tie this back into SNSD. Bubble.
Okay, so yeah, Fenrir, one of the 4, is on Engineer now.
Instead of Cube.
Yeah, instead of Cube.
Cube is a bit of a legend for his streaming, and Engineer wrangled their shots.
Wrangled their shots.
Well, why does anybody know why Cube isn't playing?
Probably busy with university life.
Yeah.
Because he's He studies hard normally, and that's probably the reason why he's not playing. That and he's just won it all, you know? Well, except for
He's
show
done it
matches
all.
against Americans.
Oh,
But yeah, other than that, there's obviously Alex retired after this season, after last season, so they've got Zebasai on heavy now.
And the other big change is the retirement of the greatest player ever to brace this game. I'm talking about Frank Dalberg, the sucker, on Medic. He is gone. He played a bit of Pyro, a bit of Engineer, but now he's gone to Dota 2.
Traitor. Burn him.
I know that this really cuts deep into Hildreth's soul. I don't think there's ever been a cast that I've watched involving Hildreth that didn't involve some mention of the sucker at some point.
Normally involving 100% quickly disappearing.
Oh, speaking of which, you were casting England versus Sweden, weren't you? Hildreth,
Yeah.
when the big drop.
Okay, this
Wasn't
is
really relevant, I
capable-
was just wanted to bring it up, it was hilarious.
But I mean, in terms of SNSD approach to the season, have they changed much? Have they got a? Because I mean, okay, they were like the Kings until last season, where they were completely dethroned by Daratuti.
There
So
was-
Why are
Still-
they completely dethroned though? Because obviously they performed really well throughout the whole season, and like beat most teams pretty comfortably. And then in the final match, they lost the final match. Obviously.
Well, the game we're watching right
Yeah,
now
but-
is one of the games where it wasn't exactly so close. Like, the only reason
Yeah.
they won Lakeside was because Permzilla on Soldier decided to go AFK for the one of the entire rounds without saying anything to anyone, and that round went into double overtime. So
yeah, but well, if Gabriel's
Nice
been good enough, they've
excuse.
got the final and played them again and beaten them, which is exactly
I'm
what.
not saying that necessarily.
Well,
I'm
I'd
just saying.
Which is
say
exactly
about
what
last
Drew
season.
did.
Last season, the final wasn't that big a spectacle. Like, I remember actually trying to cast it. It was the same day they had I-49 show matches.
It will, yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that
that's
was
awkward.
And originally, I had it lined up nice and early by Team Fortress TV to cast this final. John from Blackout Gaming was down, and we were like just trying to find another caster. And then suddenly, Enigma, the owner of Team Fortress TV, says to me, "So we're not going to do the final anymore because we're doing this instead."
wow.
So
I-
it took a lot of like groveling, you know, holding it, kissing his arse, you know, all of that stuff that I'm really good at, just to get the game actually even casted. And then the game itself, the rule set was the second thing. Is it was just one round of
Payload, yeah.
one round of
Yeah,
payload.
and if you looked at Daratutu versus Gapers on that playoff match, the game of Upward between us two was just ridiculous. Like, they had a ridiculous time, and then like they just messed up on one of the points. I mean, that mess up on one of the points ended up with us winning that, and then going to a third map in the end.
I remember casting that. That was fun.
Yeah,
And,
it was actually a good
what-
game as well. But
Have they changed that now? Are the playoffs now best of 3 if you're doing payload? Because
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
That is
did
what
they?
that's one of the big rule changes that we
Oh,
had
okay.
to make sure happen. Is that
because that happened for the Highlander Nations Cup, and yeah,
it should be one of the big rule changes. They were talking about implementing it, but the finals should be, you know, best of 3. It should be epic. Doesn't
Yeah, it
matter
should
what
be
maps.
big, and
it
you know,
will be grueling.
means
if,
something.
If it
Yeah,
if
'cause-
it's close.
2 rounds of payload to decide the whole season, to decide all of the prize money. Now, SNSD got outplayed in that final, and those 2 rounds of payload, but it's just not. I don't think it's that fair.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I think people want a big thing for the final, and yeah, why shouldn't we have that?
Did you see?
If
Bubblebobbler?
people don't
Yeah, we
want to like,
saw
play for
Bubble
an hour or
trying to
something,
build
then fuck it.
something while people were shooting at him for no reason. Rem engineer.
So, I mean, okay, bringing it back to SNSD though, right? Before last season, they were essentially untouchable. Like, you couldn't do anything to SNSD. And, I mean, that's what I mean by SNSD were dethroned in that now people are like, oh yeah, we can take SNSD. And to be fair, they've been losing matches. They didn't used to lose matches and scrims and stuff, but no, like, Jesus, I think we beat them as Ducks one time. Think about that a second. Ridiculous.
Were they-
Yeah, but, I mean, it's just scrims. They try stuff out in scrims, and like a lot of teams where they just practice what they know. Although, yeah, they have been losing against a lot of teams that they probably shouldn't be losing against.
But we just got to think about that lineup. Like, who the big difference? New engineer isn't going to make that much of a difference. Sorry, Bubble, your class is worthless. As
Honestly, I think it may be a bit of an upgrade too. Anyway, so
I don't know about that. Cube's a bit of a beast. Fenrir is really
yeah,
good
Cube
too.
is good, but Fen is good, I think, as well.
Yeah,
That's the
he's,
thing. Like,
it's not like he's an incompetent sixes player. He doesn't know where to build. He knows what he's doing.
hmm
And then there's also Hat, who's coming on Merrick to replace the Sucker. Now, I know the Sucker is the greatest player of all time.
Isn't it? Never mind. I was about to interrupt you to tell you that I was getting a med pick and then I didn't. I got headshot instantly, so pretty awkward.
Yeah, I don't think you got any med picks. You might have invented it.
No, I got like 3 in this game actually.
Yeah,
so
whatever.
don't talk.
Were they Dead Ringer Spies?
No, they were like 6 damage shots across the map.
Nice, but Hat on Medic might be an upgrade actually on the Sucker because Hat's such
Amazing.
a good player.
Yep.
I think I played quite a few of the matches last season, or maybe it was season 3. I'm not sure.
He played in season 3 and season 2 quite a lot of matches.
Yeah.
Against 27 on upward, for example.
I think Zebasai is probably the one big. Like, you can't replace AOX, doesn't matter how good you are as heavy. He's one of those irreplaceable players.
Yeah, a living legend. Alex, we salute you.
Zebasai's started to play heavy 24/7, and when you play it in sixes, it's a lot different to Highlander. A lot different, as you know, Rusky.
Yes.
And he's maybe struggling a little bit. I don't know.
He was initially. From logs what I saw, like, I mean, obviously it's only logs from scrims, so once again, how relevant is it? But from the logs I saw, he was getting like sometimes like 8 kills, 25 deaths and stuff like that, which, I mean, shouldn't really happen.
Yeah, that's not nice. Well, I mean, playing heavy for SNSD must be quite a weird experience anyway, because Cadus, he doesn't... Okay, from what I've seen of Cadus, he doesn't tend to play off his heavy too much. He just does his own thing. And that means I think you're put in quite a difficult position to be heavying in that situation.
It's another thing about their team, which is probably the part of the reasons they're losing a lot of scrims, is Cadus is jumping around constantly.
I mean, I don't
dying.
think there's anything... Like, well, okay, so yeah, the dying part, obviously there's something wrong with that, but I mean, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with the style he plays when he plays it well, but I think it can be an issue to integrate to that style if you don't know how to play with it, especially.
Well, half the reason is people know it's coming anymore. I'm sure back in the... I'm sure a few seasons ago, he would jump behind him and they're like, "Demo, jump behind us," and everyone would just turn around and look at the demo.
Oh my god! Yeah.
And then everyone would look around, turn it around, look at the demo for about 10 seconds, and then they would get crushed. But these days, people are just like, okay, one guy will just go kill him, or fight him, or keep him busy, whilst the rest of our team will destroy your team because you don't have a demo man.
My suspicion on what's happening with SNSD right now in terms of how they are compared to other teams is not that SNSD have changed. I think they've stayed pretty constant. I think the quality of Highlander has like risen.
I agree.
think it's going to be very interesting to see how SNSD, and particular Cadus, reacts to that. Because I feel, in the past, I think he's relied a lot on his DM, and his DM is stunning. Like, you see what Cadus can do, and it's mind-blowing. But as people get better, those fancy moves aren't going to mean as much, and playing really good, solid team play is going to mean a lot more. And I think that's going to be the test of this season, as we get these teams coming up who are very serious about their Highlander. They're playing a lot. They have the DM. I think this is going to be what makes or breaks SNSD, how Cadus adapts to that.
I think you're perfectly aware of it. Like, if you've ever listened to them streaming any of the PCWs they've had, I mean, he's usually the first to identify the fact that, like, the way they have played the game in the past, they can't really get away with in the same way. Because...
Although I think, so, I mean, it's kind of a weird one to bring up, but I think it's one of their issues as well, is if they kind of keep blaming Drosso for absolutely everything.
that's the best thing. No matter what Drosso's doing,
he might be doing like bad things a lot of the time as well, but I mean, some of the things blame on him is kind of weird. I can't think of any good examples just from watching their stream though. Like, I don't know.
Say right now that I feel Drosso's pain about being blamed for everything when it is blatantly not your fault.
Yeah, but you're playing medic. You don't get blamed for everything. You like dump the blame on others.
Yeah, have you never played medic before?
Bulow, what do you mean not your fault?
It's never my fault. It's never my fault.
That's the spirit. Be right back a minute.
I think.
You have about 1 minute to start shit talking me. You can even
What-
move on to my team if you want, but if you
No,
don't,
no, no, no. We can't.
Okay.
Well,
Is there
we could
anything?
do
Is there
that.
anything else left to cover with SNSD?
their team
the-
is mostly the same. That's
Yeah.
about. But the, as you said, skill set is better. The style needs to change. Tweak needs to carry
It's-
more.
It's the meta. I think has moved along a lot, and I think in the past, I don't think like the kind of meta game that other teams were going by could adapt to SNSD like super aggressive style. But I think a lot more teams are going to be really ready for that now. So we'll see.
We didn't really decide on what team we're going to do next, but let's just pick someone out the hat.
Daru 2222.
How about we go for Legolas? Because I don't know how we're going to tie them in otherwise.
Well, because we've
Okay.
played Legolas.
Oh yeah,
already.
no, yeah, we'll bring them up later. Yeah, we should go with Daratutu, I think. So let's just all awkwardly pause while we load up
Yeah, while we
Daratutu's
load it up.
page.
I'll be honest,
So-
the only member of Daru Tutu. In fact, no, I know two of them. I know Flippy and I know Mister. The rest of them, I'm like,
This season, obviously Daff isn't playing with them because Daff's on a round trip around, well, everywhere pretty much. He's traveling basically.
backstabbing tour of the world.
Yep. Looking at the roster there, let's have a guess. I'm guessing it's Pla Pla Scout. At least it was last season. Maybe it's Flip actually though. I don't know. We'll see. Soldier will be T-Mac. Pyro's going to be Dijon. I'm guessing I'm saying that name wrong, but whatever. Demo is going to be Exen. Heavy is going to be Tech. Yeah, Tech. Engine's going to be Mister. Medic's going to be K3. Sniper's going to be Flippy. And Spy is either going to be Isil
I
or
think
it's
it's
going
Isil.
to be Ombrek. I'm not sure which.
I think it still played against us in Warplay.
Okay.
I think that's
So, yeah,
maybe,
one of the two
maybe that's like the place we can start with, because obviously
Sure.
True to have been playing in Warplay this season, and we played them at the very very start of the season, so maybe like 2.5 months ago, and it kind of felt when we were playing them that they were pretty disinterested, like they didn't really have much fight about them, like they couldn't really
Yeah,
be bothered playing.
I spoke to K3 like a week ago. Like I was pubbing with them, and he said basically that this is the season where, this upcoming season, they're not going to really practice or anything. They're going to have fun with it, and see how far they get.
Yeah, but what I mean, then we played them last week in our official, and it was kind of completely different in terms of just the way they were playing. It just felt like they cared a lot more. And obviously, it was an official, so they probably did. But the kind of problem with Warplay this season was that there was a massive break almost in the middle because most of the games only got played in the final week.
Yeah.
I think about 8 of the games got played in the final week, which kind of made things kind of.
And the other thing was, I think Daratutu lost most of their games at the beginning of the season, then won most of them at the end, didn't they?
Well,
Or am I getting that wrong?
They lost their first game against Killswitch in a kind of hilarious circumstances because
They only lost 2 games. Okay.
yeah, they lost their first game against Killswitch, and it was really awkward because they kind of they lost the first round on Upward, and then they won the second round. But that day, it was a Sunday, the Warplay website was broken, wasn't loading, so they just thought, oh, that's it, it's just a draw then, and they all left the server. And I remember talking to Chan afterwards, and Chan was like, yeah, we didn't really know why they were leaving, but we couldn't stop them. So then they had to play this really awkward one round on a Thursday afternoon, 2 weeks later.
Wow.
And then they lost that to Killswitch, so that kind of took the wind out of their sails, I imagine. But then whenever they started playing again, properly, I think they had some of the weaker teams in the middle of the season, and then in the final
Such as
week.
these, it's all good guys.
No, they played us towards the end, actually, I think you'll find. We
No,
were
I
our
think
big
you-
carry lazy bear that day. He was partying. Anyway, yeah, so whenever we came playing them in our official, they played a lot better. They just felt much more aggressive, much more like they actually cared about what was going on. And then in the final game that they lost was against Bulldog's team, Highpander, on Steel. And like, Bo, I don't know. You were watching that match, weren't you?
Yeah, I was watching it on people's streams, so I wasn't properly watching it, but I was like seeing what people were doing basically.
I can tell you what happens.
Oh, here we go.
Go ahead.
Big man back, just in time. Hildreth,
Basically, we scrimmed steel a lot, and they didn't, and they were just running around like headless rabbits and chickens.
That's
rabbits
pretty
and
much
chickens.
steel, isn't it? If you don't practice steel, it's just not going to go well.
I mean, their sniper, they had bowed Merkin, so the Philippine were like, let's allow him, the possible hacker who's been banned for hacking, because Flippy is almost irreplaceable. And then all of the first round, he just kept headshotting Ritalin, Medic, and Ritalin kept going, this guy's hacking. This guy's hacking. And then the next, like, that kept him in the game. Like, they had a decent time because they kept killing our Medic attacking time, but then we just capped it quicker or something. No, we defended it quicker. That's how it went.
I mean, I've got to say that. Like,
How do you defend something quicker?
Don't ask, just gloss over
this
it.
This is the new meta, Schmooze.
This
anyway.
is why Bubble.
I was going to
With
say,
Right,
from
Here's
what
the
I've
tactic,
seen,
right?
go for it, Ruskeydoo.
It's when you're defending, right, and your blood's up, and you know you need to play now. So what you do is you lose as fast as you can because you know that you're in the zone, and as soon as you're back, and you're going to be like 3 minutes time. Fuck it, we've got this. Just go ham and take it. That is how you defend aggressively. Bam, done.
I see.
That's
Well,
what happens.
what I was just going to say is that I'd say that Steel is probably one of Highpander's best maps from what we played against them. Like, they know what they're doing on it.
Big
Obviously.
Evoki.
Oh,
Yeah,
5
He's got the
I
smooth
want-
moves.
Oh,
It looks like
Go
he's
for,
dying
go
there.
for it,
Yeah.
go for it, dog.
I once, when we started playing Highlander, this was like 2 years ago, I once spent like an hour writing a document on steel strats. True story.
How would it compare to Heinz' document on Steel strategy? That can be found on the UGC forum.
It was an American team, and we were an American team, and we had like all Americans. We were playing Colony in the ETF2L Highlander challenge, and we beat them on steel as a result of my E-Rush strat. And we had like
Pretty good.
100 less ping, so I'd say, considering that Hein, last time he played steel with his team, they lost. Yeah, ours is better.
Okay.
Is it still the exact same strategy that you're employing today?
It's slightly different, because you got to get with the times, you know. Not telling you guys, stop trying to steal them.
Oh well, we've all seen it. We've all seen it here.
Yeah, but you can't interpret it.
We can't express it in terms of verbally on a
Broski
stream
could,
like this.
Broski could express it in interpretive dance, though, maybe.
I totally could.
Weren't we
and I'm
talking
game
about
for that.
Dara Tutu? Because they've got to play a wire play
Yeah.
playoff against Killswitch.
I just
which
realised, like, what the hell are we talking about right now?
they've-
That's going to be interesting as a sign of things to come for this season.
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether they are able to beat Killswitch this time around, because obviously, as I said at the start of the season, they were maybe a bit weaker, a bit less interested. They'd gone to seed after their success in the Highlander Nations Cup. So I don't know how it works. Does anybody know how Warplay?
basically, the second team is going to get the chance to pick, I think, the first two maps. I think, I'm not entirely sure. And then they're going to play each other, and the winner will play us.
Yeah, so it's kind of pretty much exactly the same as the way ETF2L runs it. Yeah, and obviously that'll be kind of awkward again for fixture congestion. Just trying to get that played at some stage, because I know Bones will want to have Warplay getting wrapped up.
I think it has to be played either end of this week or
I think
next
it's before
one.
November the 20th or something like that.
Oh, okay, that's a little while.
then we're going to play the final and pick Steel.
Yeah, well, we know you're going to fix Steel. That's your best man. Well, it has to be played by the 19th, says Emilio in stream chat. So thank you for that, Emilio. You primo man. So I would say our final conclusion on Drew is that
They're full of hackers.
full of hackers. Okay, fuck
So,
Francis.
with the team collapse drama quotient, would you say in this case they won't fall apart? They'll just all get banned, so the team will have to fold by
That's
default.
what's going to happen, pretty
What's
much.
going to happen?
Okay.
Okay. We're playing them on
Okay.
Steel, so that's fine. Hopefully they do that before we actually play
But yeah,
Steel.
other than like Wireplay being a thing, like a sign of things to come for Dara 2, what else is there to say
Which is
about
basically
them in
if they
particular.
can they, how are they going to defend their crown, or are they? Like, do
Well,
we,
yeah,
do we
of
think
course.
they
But
are?
what I'm saying is, does anyone have any insight on that?
I think it's very interesting if they're just gonna not scrim too much and just have some fun. That says to me that, I mean, are they having issues with like how keen they are for this? Because I mean, they're mainly sixes players, right? And I think that's going to be the factor. Whether
I don't think that's a factor at all. I think
well, no, I
you
mean,
can't call
the
them only
factor is
sixes
like
players.
whether they're going to get in gear and actually want this enough.
Okay,
'Cause-
but you brought up the fact
Yeah.
that there were sixes players.
well, I mean, are they still passionate about sixes?
Yes, they're
But
playing. They have a very busy schedule. Like tomorrow, they're playing a game that will decide basically the
Yeah,
bottom
so
half of
relegation.
Prem
I mean,
against us.
what I'm
Smash.
saying is, if Highlander gets pushed aside by what they're doing in sixes, then I don't think that's going to be a good sign for them. Obviously, a Highlander tournament.
Oh
But
yeah, that's true.
They're not very active at the moment because they had to like give up. I don't know what they had to give up, but they weren't planning on playing this week. But we scheduled a game with them in sixes, and then when they sent the proposal, we agreed, and I never accepted it. And then by the time I realised that we would get deducted the point if I didn't accept if I accepted the proposal and we played, because there's some rule about schedule. So we rescheduled the game against their will, and T-Mac got really, really mad. Did you understand any of that?
No, it's,
Roughly.
Do you know,
I
you
guess.
know the rule in Prem where you
it
have
doesn't
to.
matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. Nobody cares about sixes
Oh,
here.
the thing about like you have to have it like all set up and
Did you see that on the stream? Oh, that was good. Sorry.
was there a thing that you have to have your roster set up like an amount of time before the match? Is that what it is in Prem?
No, you have to have the game scheduled something like 24 hours in advance.
For casting purposes. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And you get a minor warning.
Okay, well, I'm going to call it. I think we've done Dara TT.
Okay, yeah, we should probably just move on. Yeah.
Okay,
So
Okay,
next.
we're on to Highpander. We're on to Highpander. now.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
Okay, let's load up the old Highpander then.
I think we were just waiting for Hildreth to make a
Am I
comment on
supposed
his
to
own
say
team.
something?
We want you to
Yeah.
say something, and then we can
About
give
myself?
us an
we can
insight.
boo and taunt.
Well,
Even if it's just roster to start with.
I was originally planning on trying to create like a really, really good team and find the best players, but I had to settle with well, I got. Just kidding, they're all good players. But the roster is going to be. This is where you get to talk about Colony. It's going to be Zub and Furbo on the flank, the Soldier Scout. Then our Pyro is going to be Steve. And under my man, our Heavy's Nijunen.
Neunan.
Nijunen?
I find it funny.
I called him Nigel every time we play.
It's not just like you call him Nigel, your entire team calls him Nigel.
I
Just imagine you're playing for a team and they can't even call you your real name, they just call you Nigel.
I
You
like.
just
I like-
anglicize it, just spurning your culture.
I just couldn't
Ah.
pronounce his name, so I said I'm
I
going to
like
call
to,
you
I like to
Nigel.
think of this. I always like to think of Highpander as some kind of cult of personality that Hildreth has created. He's got them all saying his mantra. He can rename them. He defines your identity now. It doesn't matter who you are.
Pretty
once
much.
once you're a member of Highpander, you're just Hildreth's plaything.
I'm thinking of something interesting to rename our sniper Problem, because it's a bit hard to pronounce the P, the H, the R.
Yeah, it's.
I
a
might
bit
just call him
Polish.
Phil.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty English as well. It's a proper name.
And Rickling can be
Ricky.
Sky.
Rick.
Rick, yeah.
Rickling's our medic, and our engineer is Dr. Kaka. I'm just going to call him. Oh, I don't know what I can call him. Dr. Kaka?
Just call him Dr. Kaka.
It's not easy. It's something like Kaka.
It's like Dr. Kaka 6K. I'm sure
You
there's
gotta
like a
have that
Russian
6 in there.
pronunciation, but
He apparently he lives in Ireland.
Yeah, he lives in Ireland. He's
What a
from
great guy.
Latvia. He's
he's,
probably
he's from Latvia, thus
Just
he lives in
mad.
the UK.
Ireland's not the UK, Bubble. What are you talking about?
Does he live in Northern Ireland?
It depends which
Does
bit of
he?
Ireland,
Does he?
doesn't it?
I think so. Mate.
Anyway, final one. Who's your spy?
Oh, Fibboy.
So Fred.
Now this team is just basically a dictatorship owned by me. I tried to make it a dictatorship. This is actually my first season playing in the ETF2L Prem. Before that, I've been playing with American poker teams in the ETF2L. Now I want to get a serious team.
Yeah, we don't. Do we have any Americans in ETF to a season?
I don't
In
actually
the upper
think...
echelon?
There
anyway?
are a few in like Div 4 and Div 5 and maybe Div 6 as well, but there are none in...
He's talking notable teams, mostly,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, obviously, as I said, in the past, like the American teams have had a checkered past, shall we say, in terms of their ability to complete matches.
Mate, my team...
UBS in Season 3, they did. They
Right.
completed all their games, I remember, I was there. But in this... who was it? There was 2 American teams in the other Division 2, and I think they failed to like play each other because they had scheduled a game that was supposed to be played in like...
Oh, story.
Yeah, yeah, it was supposed to be played in like November time, and they thought it was like supposed to be scheduled in like March, and because they read the dates the wrong way around because of American dating, and
Why did they think it was going to be in March?
well, it was more because I don't know, but
No, they didn't think it was going to be in March. ETF2L got pissed at them because they scheduled it for March because they got the date formatting wrong.
yeah,
Because they scheduled it as month, day, year, rather than day, month,
Right.
year.
Oh, yeah. But
See,
they're-
Emilio's calling it in the chat the Genu mix and Dick to Fat. He of course is saying that because Killswitch got promoted to Div 1 because that match never got completed and neither team was able to pick up points, thus allowing Killswitch to automatically get promoted to Div 1.
Wow.
And he's got the gamer glasses on now in stream chat. Hold on, Emilio. You're fought there.
If they had never played us on Barn Blitz, the UBS American mix with our pug team, and beaten us, they would have not got promoted either.
Ooh. Well, they did.
Yeah, they did. And so were you going
To
to
be
talk
fair,
about
though-
my team? Go on.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah,
should,
go on.
shouldn't we?
Let's
Before we-
hit you with some hard questions, Hildreth. Who do you believe is the weakest link in your team?
Oh, the weakest link.
This is a great question.
Oh,
This is a good question to start off with.
oh, no, I don't want to call anyone out on my team. I'd
Yeah,
say
but
everyone-
we want
pussy.
you to call someone.
I would say everyone except me. That's
That's
the
Can you
weakest
can you give a
link.
real
Because-
answer?
No, that's a shit answer.
That's
You
a
gotta-
cop-out pussy answer, Hildreth. I thought you had a pair, seriously.
What? Do you want to... Well,
We
some of the
want you to
players
name
are
names.
unproven. That's all I can say.
No,
Like,
okay,
No, you gotta
that's
name
bullshit
names.
too. Come on.
from scrims, it's like some of the... I mean, one of the problems we had in some of our scrims was Froblin was being outsniped. So maybe
you're saying
he has to
problem
step
shit,
himself up.
okay.
Whoa, so you're saying Problem, the man who carried Max Play in Prem? They're
Yeah.
relegation in Prem.
Carried them
But
to
when
relegation.
he
Carried in
get
back
outsniped.
relegations in Prem and Div 1, yes. Are you you're saying that he's maybe the... Say Steve. Shmoo says Steve.
Well,
He's-
Steve's a pyro, mate. Doesn't fucking matter if he's
Schmutz
shit
is
or
saying
not.
that anyway because
You need
Steve
a
and
real
Schmutz had an
class to be
argument.
good.
Is
You
he
need to play in
saying
real class.
he's only saying say Steve because they had an argument in like Fanny's chat the other day about how Steve thought that Schmutz was shit and all this stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
good
but
read.
in fairness, Steve is a shitlord.
Yeah, Steve is.
He's not even
pretty
called
shit,
Steve,
yeah.
by the way. Steve isn't even his real name.
Yeah, something like Dan or something.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah.
It's probably much more polished than that though.
Man, Steve is the best pyro in Europe by a large amount, and probably one of the top 3 in the world. So shut up.
Really? Really?
Yeah, in my opinion.
What about big TMP?
Big
TMP 's
TMP,
number 1.
he doesn't play much anymore, I'm afraid. No
Does he
team will
stream
pick him
though,
up.
Hildreth? Does he stream though?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no team will pick him
Yeah,
up
if
because he's
anybody knows
unstable.
it, then you know.
Yeah, he's had a few issues in the past, put it politely.
I remember seeing one of his UGC threads. This is completely irrelevant, by the way. You should probably get off of TMP after this. But I remember seeing one of his UGC threads where he posted a picture and he was saying about how he decided whether to kill himself or not based off of a coin flip, and showed a picture of the coin, saying that he shouldn't. And that was his post. It was like, what the hell? Why did you post this?
Man, that guy has some serious issues, and all you can do is laugh at him. You're a disgusting person. I would never do
Yeah,
that.
it's true.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
But yeah, you really get back to pandas again.
Okay, yeah. What other hard questions can we ask them? Okay, Hildreth, where do you think you're going to finish this season? What position?
Well, we want to win, and we always got to
we all
think that we can
want
win.
to win. We all want to win.
We're always
where
going
do
to
you-
think we'll win. There's no point in me going, we're going to play and maybe get to playoffs. No, we want to win, and we're going to win. If Problem steps his fucking game up.
Oh, fucking Problem. Yeah, I know. Right?
Fucking
That guy.
sort it out, Problem. And
Phil.
yeah, Phil. I almost
Alright,
called him by his...
here's
I
a-
called him by his slave name,
here's another question.
his African name.
After you
Well, it's pretty.
pillaged Colony for their flank, and
Well, you could also
essentially
keep in
ripped
I
mind.
the
wanted
heart
some
out
of their
their
other good
key.
players as well, like
But then he settled for Saber and Kisakawa instead.
Like no, I'm just lying.
Well, as I said, you do have Kisakawa and Saber on backups.
Right, let me
So you
let me
have
finish.
pillaged them
As
for
you
small
Those
players
are
already.
actually two
beating-
players that could have been put on the team and sort of fitted into the team. But I'm happy with the lineup we have. Like we could have got Kiso and Medic, and he's backup Medic, and we could have tried to fill Saber in on Spy. But I'm happy with Fearboy. So
Fair enough.
But as I said, after you tore the beating heart out of Colony, the most beloved team in European Highlander,
Rest in
do you
peace.
think it was
Monster.
perhaps in poor taste to then be the first one to bring out the condolences in your Vanilla TF2 article about them? You, the man who held the dagger to their throat and pulled it across.
well, I'm just like one of your typical murderers. Kill somebody and I turn up to their funeral. What can you
Yeah.
say?
That's fine. Well, at least you did it. At least you stepped out to the plate and said how great Colony were.
It's just wanted to
What-
bring some tears to your eyes.
How do you intend to win Prem? Is it going to be through DM or strats, or do you have a plan? And is it anything other than just play good TF2?
One thing I've always said, I'm famous for saying, is European Highlander is worse than American. So,
Hildreth's catchphrase.
yeah. And you can tell that European Highlander isn't as developed. So my idea is to try and play a more Americanized style. By that I mean cleaner Uber fights. Demo men who don't jump behind and try and cable medics. Things like that.
Fair.
Naming
fair.
your names.
Things like that. And but our team probably needs to, like, we have some strong DMers, but we have the danger of being out DM'd. So we're just trying to get the best strategy, the best teamwork, and win all the Uber fights, because Highlander is about 70% Uber fights. That's the plan.
Fair enough.
Cool. Okay.
Then we
and
should
on
probably
that
actually
note,
speak about. Well,
shall we
didn't really
move
talk
on to another
about.
team, or do you want to?
We could, but we didn't really actually speak about that much substance about the team beyond Hildreth, like, kind of blagging and asking Hildreth tough questions.
Oh, well, we could go player by player.
Well, we could do it. Well, there's no need to spend too much time on it, but we should basically just talk about how the team's been doing, basically. Because I mean, we didn't talk about how they've been doing in scrims. We didn't talk about anything really, so we should probably get to that. So, how have you been doing in scrims, Hildog?
Well, really well until we played one game that we were against Killswitch, and they completely outplayed us in a wire play match.
Oh, that game.
Oh, yeah, their medic only died like 4 times in 3 rounds.
And our team kind of just fell apart in terms of comms. And I mean, we were lucky to even draw Process 2-2. I'd say when you're playing bad, it shows that we can be a good team if we play that badly and still get some sort of result.
Well, you got to think though. Like the reason you were, well, from what I saw anyway, a lot of the reason you were losing was because you weren't used to losing. Like your team didn't want to kind of accept that. Like people were arguing with each other in comms, stuff like that.
It's
It was
true.
just, I mean, the thing is, like, one of the issues that pandas could have is they could end up having a bad start of the season. Who knows? I mean, you're against Gapers, so maybe not. But you could have a bad start to the season, and if you do, then that could be a big issue.
Maybe, but it's up to me to keep the team together. Stop them blaming each other. Like, only one person my team's allowed to blame, and that's me. Because I know everything.
Fair enough.
No objections there. Good.
No.
That's
No,
what I thought.
we know what side bread is buttered on Highpander. It says I watched the scrim the other day that you were playing without I say that the Highpander were playing, but you weren't there.
Yeah, Sheepy was demo.
Chibi was demo and Ritalin was trying to call a lot more, and it was really, really awkward because it just felt like everybody, because you weren't there, they were like, oh, Hildreth isn't here, we can do what we want now, and they just kind of all ran around and are completely aimless and like didn't really know what they were doing. It was really funny. I kind of like to think of you as like,
And
the
then
teacher.
Richard was like the childminder who was like
Yeah,
trying
it
to.
was just like the childminder,
trying to keep
the
people in line.
teacher. Yeah, and then
bless.
as soon as he steps out, anarchy reigns. So the key to Highpander is Bulldog playing every single game
Yeah,
and
team.
doing everything and just doing everything.
I'll give you a secret that you might want to use. When we played It's All Good in early PCW with our team formation,
Yeah,
it was a
Upward.
warm-up for one of our wire play teams on Upwards,
Upward,
and we
yeah.
lost. And I kept getting picked, like, in every fight by our spy, sniper, all of that stuff. And that was, like, this is probably the big reason why we lost. But
Yeah,
so
well-
yes, be modest.
yeah,
well, no, it's true. We kept killing their main caller, and they didn't then know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
that's fair enough.
the main caller was dead.
I think
That was the
no
main
one's
reason.
going to argue that demo men are kind of important in Highlander, right? I mean,
Well, it's
true.
doubly important given that Hildreth does all the calling, and moreover, it's not so much that he just does all the calling; it's also that within Highpander, everybody knows that Hildreth does all the calling, and I think maybe then, whenever you're not there or not up and calling in the same way, there's more of a vacuum because people aren't used to stepping into that. I
it's
don't know.
true. I also have, like, I also believe in the way Valen played with the Syndicate, he should have a caller for the flank as well. And we got Zub and Furbo are just so good at working together on the flank.
Hmm.
So it's just sort of coordinating those two together. Combo flank. And Problem
So-
hitting headshots for once.
Mm-hmm.
here's my take on what might bring pandas down. And this is just my opinion. This is formulated from playing
It's
in
just a
mixed
Div 1
teams.
opinion. Okay.
Entirely, Div 1 opinion. This is formulated from mixed teams playing against pandas. And that is, I think you're very used to having the advantage. So, like, you've got really good DM and you've got really good strats, which is an amazing, powerful combination. But it means that you can get away with some stuff that if you meet a team that is equal on those fronts, you're going to have problems with. Like, your combo is often in dubious positions, and if you've got that DM advantage in a stranglehold on, say, a map like Viaduct, then sure, holding Cliff with your combo is great, but if you lose a couple of classes, and this is what I saw in a couple of mixes, like, holding there is like, that's very, very knife edge. If you lose that, then that's a big problem.
A big problem.
Oh.
Heh. Heh.
Yeah. Okay.
Where?
True,
Where?
but then in TF2 Rusky, when shit goes wrong, you have to react well as well. So if things are going badly, you just have to go, okay, we've lost a couple of people, get out, give them the point, regroup,
Yes,
push.
yes. And that is
I mean,
the
you
question,
can't win
like,
every push in this game, doesn't matter how good you are. As you can see by SNSD's performance on this Gullywash, they're not winning every push.
Far from it, indeed. Yeah.
indeed.
Tying back into the game that we've just left running in the background. Like,
It's
How's
unnamed
Fanny's
artistic-
doing?
Fanny's
How's my
camera
man?
work is great. He's just, I say camera work, he's on first-person viewpoint, so it's not much.
It's like what him pressing mouse 1 and
His-
mouse 2
his
occasionally to
directive vision.
change who he's
That
looking
shot
at.
by Gummins was nice though.
Yeah, but Fanny's
Did you
got
saw that?
he's got great taste, and he knows when to pick the right player. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, we kind of talked about pandas now.
We've
like-
talked enough about pandas.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
let's
talked
get
enough
to
about
those.
them at least anyway, so we should probably move on to a different team. Let's move on to Stab in the Dark. Have we covered all the teams that have already played now?
Did we
No,
do
no,
These are all
level
the
Yeah.
teams that
let's-
haven't
let's-
played
let's-
yet. These are all
Yeah,
the teams that haven't played yet.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, we haven't. There's teams that we haven't. Like, we're basically leaving the teams that have already played till last.
Yeah, because we've got a bit more to go on there. We can talk about there first.
Yeah. So let's start with It's All Good since we've covered everyone else's Prem teams.
Okay.
Heh. Or-
Well, as I said, after the corpse of Colony, Hildreth left behind, we're now the pub team for Prem. We're a pub team. We all played on Gladblad 24/7 Badwater 2 years ago, and now we're in Prem. Oh, I'm in Prem, which should be a
Jesus.
lesson to everybody. Exactly, Jesus. Think about it. If I can do it, all you need to do is
It's like the local
Play
boy
medic.
made good story.
all you need to do is play medic, have a team that plays together for 2 years, and is a lot better than you, and carries you all the way there and do everything for them because they're babies and can't organise them way out of a paper bag. That's all you need to do to beat Bram.
Okay, the first
In
thing I have to
Highlander.
say about It's All Good is whenever I watch your stream and shit is going wrong, you guys just turn into the biggest
We should go through
bunch of
rosters first
whiners
before
I've
we-
ever seen.
We should get to rosters before we go through that, though.
It's almost as if you're a family. You just hate each other.
Well, we will go through our roster, but as you say,
Yeah.
we for the most part, our roster hasn't changed all that much over the last even like 2 years. There's most of the same players are there as they were 2 years ago, and I think that is a kind of a problem in so much as everybody's too used to each other, so they don't mind telling each other they fuck off and such. But anyway, yeah, on Scout we have Lazy Bear, who's pretty good. Then our soldier's a bit iffy right now. We're not entirely sure who's playing soldier.
Although, can I just say one thing?
Yes, go for it.
So I heard that the reason why like Shmoose left, other than like him having more commitments and not finding it fun, was just because he didn't like the atmosphere. Don't know if that's right or not. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Well,
but-
he probably didn't, because as you say, it was kind of
Yeah, basically I just heard it was something
gets
about the
heated.
atmosphere.
What
But
class
then
does
I
he play?
heard,
Yes, go for
soldier.
it. Go for it, ball.
But then I heard that you were considering bringing Deathlegger in to replace him.
We indeed this very day, Deathlagger has been put onto our roster.
And do you think that will improve the atmosphere?
Yes, I've got excellent character references from Lazy Bear. Lazy Bear says it's fine. And,
Okay. I've just heard.
I've never played with Deathlagger before, but I trust the judgment
honestly,
of
I've never-
the judgment of my team.
Honestly, I've never played with him as well, but I've heard scare stories from many people about him just being like
Think
I mean,
about it.
not-
Even if he's mad, even if he is like just incredibly mad, that's not really going to change anything.
yeah,
But think
true.
about it, we're used to that. We can deal with that. You know?
Yeah.
And generally, what I will say is we're much nicer whenever there's kind of like a guest in the mumble. When there's somebody, there's a merc. You know, we'll put on a facade. We'll pretend everything. We'll play happy families. Like as soon as they leave, you can just tell people they're a fucking idiot all the time. It's fine. But yeah, that's kind of what we wanted Moogie. We're not going to make any bones about it. We wanted Moogie to play for us, the Finnish soldier from Spirits in the Shell, because we played with him a lot, and he plays in my sixes team. He's my pocket in sixes. Now that Shmoo's also left that team as well, and
Wow.
we wanted Moogie. He played in our first game. He murked for us in the first game. Luckily, there's no Bubblebobbler rule anymore, or at all, which means he could potentially play for us if scheduling allows it. But yeah, I mean, we're confident that Deathlagger will do fine. I mean, he's a smart player. He's played a lot.
Can we-
He knows soldier?
Can we not refer to it as the Bubblebobbler rule, though, please?
No, we'll call it the Bobbler rule.
Okay, sure, the Bobbler rule.
The Bobbler rule. So then on Pyro we have Rudy, who he's one of those original members from the pub days. He plays Pyro. Pyro's obviously a useless class, and he doesn't always enjoy it, but whatever. Demo Man, we have Niak, who's probably the stupidest demo man in Prem. He has issues in terms of his ability to both coordinate his mouth and his hand. So our comms are awkward there sometimes. But he puts out a lot of damage. You know, he's affectionately known as the damage machine in our team.
You didn't put on the voice that you usually put on when you say damage
machine.
There
Yeah,
you
good. Exactly. Niak is the creator of the team, so he will always have a special place in our hearts. On heavy, we have Pinky, who is a very good heavy. Oh shit, we've run out of demos now. Fanny, like, put on like a demo.
Quick, Fanny, run the first
You'll
one
fix
again.
it.
No one's paying any attention. It'll be fine.
It doesn't matter. Just look different point of views.
If you want to download a good demo from last season, oh actually no, yeah, just put on a random one. Fuck it, like
That's the
something
sign
like
that this podcast is.
Jesus, put something on.
Whatever
'Cause this is
schedule.
giving me epilepsy.
Whoa,
It's fucking
Fanny,
filthy.
really?
Jesus Lord, what is that?
Anyway, oh well, this is actually a great transition because what I was about to say is Pinky is our main heavy, and he's very good heavy. But in the past few months, he has become a massive pothead, and he is always stoned off his head every time we play now. So he's probably used to
Oh,
seeing like,
Pinky.
bright flashing lights all the time.
We trialed Pinky.
Yeah, for a while.
And the only
now.
problem I had with Pinky was I couldn't really communicate with him, which is why I.
You did trial him at the time that he had started smoking a lot of pot.
Exactly. So he was probably spaced out that he was even trying. He probably thought that he was playing with you guys when he was playing with us.
Well, it was probably a lot quieter, so he probably knew it wasn't us. But yeah, no, Pinky's a very good heavy.
You're obviously not been an arm on board.
And yes, Pinky's on heavy. On engineer, we have NCM usually, but NCM's been playing a lot of Path of Exile recently, so hopefully he'll be back. He'll definitely be back for Steel. Steel's his favourite map. And NCM, another one of those players who's been there from the start. And if NCM can't play, generally we get Lenny to play. Lenny being the talisman of the team, our former ambassador spy that Hildreth was so taken with when he casted us about 2 years ago in the Reddit round robin.
I remember that shit. Yeah,
that was
thank
hilarious.
you for ruining my Saturday, you bastards.
It was on Foundry, I think. It was very good. And so then he would style himself as the best engineer AU. So he thinks he's pretty good, and he is pretty good. His DM's
what do you think about that, Bobo?
You could just call him King Nothing then.
King Nothing. Well, this is the thing though. If you want to do well, you might as well have the best player on every single class that you can.
Yeah, that's true.
We can all make fun of engineers all we want, but the better your engineer, the better your team will be. Just full stop.
Although, if you were to weigh up your best engineer EU to like some of your other classes, then like if you were to look at some of your other classes and then compare them to the best of those classes, then I think that difference would be so big.
What are you trying to say here, Boa?
Nothing.
Okay. Moving on.
Well,
I'm medic.
Oh, there's an example.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Perfect opportunity. I'm medic. Yes. I won't comment on my skill.
Well, I once described you as the Hein of European Highlander.
But that's not a positive thing, is it? Though,
It's a wonderfully backhanded compliment.
You make all these comparisons to people, but these people that you make comparisons to, although it sounds good, you hate them, and I know you hate them, so it's really awkward.
Well, I'm fine with that. I know that Hildreth's jealous of my immense Highlander success.
I thought it was more like a medic with no sense of where he's going, healing better players.
Well,
I think that's most medics, though, isn't it?
This is true, actually.
But yeah, I'm the medic. That's the main thing, and I do everything with the team. And I try and call a lot of the team, but nobody ever listens to me. So whatever. Fanny is our sniper, the guy who is streaming this. He's one of Europe's most regular streamers. He's on almost every night. You can see his face there. He has a web camera that Steve from Highpander sent him, and one of the most creepy things to happen this year.
That sounds pretty creepy.
Wait, what?
Alright, well basically, for Fanny has his stream, and Steve kept watching his stream, and he must have just kept asking, Fanny, show your face or whatever, and Fanny was like, oh, I don't have a webcam or whatever. And then Steve was like, right, well, I'll send you one. And then he did.
It's funny, because when Steve streams, he never has a face cam.
No,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Steve is
double
a cutie though,
standard,
so it's
Steve.
okay.
Yeah, you've all met Steve, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah, you're not missing out on much.
Well, he's not even 18 yet, so... Anyway. Fanny's really good. He calls far too much for a sniper, but whatever. And he gets really impatient. He gets really mad, but... he's still the most mature player in the team, because he's the oldest player in the team. Or actually, are you? Is Niak older than you?
No, he's older.
Oh.
How old is he?
5 months.
Niak and
How old
Fanny
is
go
Niak?
way back, by the way.
He's 26.
Wow, what's an old man, right, Rusky?
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus. Let me tell you, when you get to my age, the ripe old age of 32...
Oof.
God,
Rusky,
in
Jesus.
December, I'm 33. That's like a third of a century. Fuck. How old
You
is
are
that?
old, Rusky. Jesus.
I
Well,
know,
33
right?
years old, but that is old.
Exactly, but
I'm flabbergasted. There's as much of a difference between my age and your age as there is between me and Steve. Jesus, and I think
what's
Steve's a little
weird
kid.
is like it's getting to the stage where I'm on teams with people who I'm like, holy fuck, I could actually be your father.
Whoa.
Wow.
You should start.
Yeah,
that
but-
should be your bind. That
A
should be
lot
your
of
bind.
people would
I'm
love
your daddy.
you to be their father, though.
Yeah, but a lot of people could be my father since I'm from Grimsby, like
Yeah, that would just take someone who's like what,
20,
24?
24.
before, yeah, done.
Very good. And lastly, on Spy, we have Inso, who is the best spy in Europe, no doubt.
I thought he was the third best spy in It's All Good. Isn't that your claim?
He is, because Lenny is playing engineer, and Solid
true.
is Solid's being a Sixes kid right now. So of course it kind of depends. If Solid is the one who thinks he's the best, then we just say that Inso is the best. It's fine. It just alternates that way.
Wait, so who's he supposedly better than? Like all
Everybody.
the other spies? You gotta go through them. Like, Daft doesn't play anymore, does he?
Daft doesn't really play anymore. If you look,
Big Homer?
if we're to say
Yeah, he's not
Big
better
Homer,
than Big Homer, I don't think.
Well,
Inso's better than Big Homer. Inso's better
Okay,
than Big
okay.
Homer.
What about
But
Inso versus Elliman?
Inso's
I think
better than
Elliman's.
Elliman. I would say Elliman is a very good spy, one of the best. But what I would say about Elliman is sometimes I think his concentration wavers, and he just then plays
We
like
can
absolute
get to
shit.
kill switch. We can get to kill switch.
That's fine. Elliman is the.
What about Fearboy?
Fearboy's a perfectly adequate spy.
Perfectly adequate.
Perfectly adequate for Prem.
No,
I think
Fearboy's
Fairboy's
pretty
come
good.
into his own recently. His like skill level seems to have really popped recently.
It might be because somebody's reviewing demos of him. I actually did that once, like 4 months ago.
No, this is the thing. Fearboy's a very good spy, but as with everything, doesn't mean that there isn't somebody better. And that man who's better is Inso. Inso's the best
Fair
spy. So yeah, that's our team. We've had a relatively successful season this year. Well, it's this year because we won Wireplay in season 10 when it was maybe a bit easier for him, and then this season we got kind of trashed and came fourth. So never mind. But we did win Ready Steady Pan 2.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
we have pedigree. We have top tier pedigree.
You are the Pan champions.
We're the Pan champions. Yeah, exactly.
Serious business.
Exactly.
So what's this has just been loaded on the stream by
I'm not
Fanny?
sure. It looks like a really old demo. It looks like
This is like old school.
May contain nuts versus Parrot
Parrot
Gaper.
Gapers. Yeah, this is old school. Jesus. It's a shame we didn't have
Oh.
demo for Parrot Gapers versus Colony. That was a good game.
I want to see if there's something. Like old
Yeah,
seasons.
big perm on demo, man.
Yeah, watch Big Perm for a bit. Anyway, yeah, so back to actually what we're supposed to be talking about, since we've already taken like an hour.
It's all good. I think it's time to, unless anyone wants a wrapping word on this one, we should move on to the next team.
Well, we only talked about roster, so we may as well at least talk about the results for about 5 minutes, let's say.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because there is results here, isn't there? So okay.
Well,
what
up
you
to
can
now,
say
there's only
is
one result.
Recently, as I said, we haven't been playing very well on Wireplay. We had some difficulties getting like a regular lineup up and you playing every game, and like we lost a load of games in UGC as well after we kind of started off relatively well. But you know we've stuck it out and we're still playing. We lost yesterday in process against Killswitch in a very long, drawn out, boring game. 90 minutes or so on process for 5 caps in total. The final cap going to a soldier back cap because Lenny decided he would use his master race tactics and get Rescue Ranger the gun from last out while we were trying to push out of last in second, just allowing their soldier to walk onto the point and end the
And this is
tournament.
Oh,
best
God.
NG in.
This is the best.
Yeah,
in
this
EU.
is the best
This
This is
NG
the
in
best
EU.
He's the best.
Maybe
Just
he
second,
just wanted
just
to
second.
end the game.
No.
Yeah.
It could have been a smart move. Like,
It-
end this torture, our team will have...
Well, we because we did have in our first game of the season was against Suki doing work on Granary, so that's our 5 CP map, and that went to Golden Cap, and in that game, Quell made a double back cap on us after we had wiped them on mid.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
You got double back cap
We
by
got
a
double
pyro.
back. We got double back cap by a
Jesus.
pyro. Yeah.
Okay. I'm very...
Lenny made the call that the pyro was going behind us, and we all thought maybe it was because we'd already played like 80 minutes of Granary and had been ground into submission. We just thought, oh, that means he's looping around to try and like get a kill. No, Quell was done. He wanted to clock off for the day. He was just going straight for the point, and obviously we had like 7 people on the point. We thought, oh well, somebody else will go back and kill him. Like nobody did. But that loss is all on Lenny. If he is slack calls, the best engineer, AU.
Wow.
These both sound very similar situations, like long games on 5 CP maps. So maybe it was a smart move to just lose the game there, so that none of you guys had killed yourself by the next day, so that you could keep the team together.
Thankfully, process in ETF2L is limited to 30 minutes, so nobody will need to slit their wrists this time.
Okay, so my opinion on your team is you will do better than the ones that do not practice, like Legolas, Paracapers. And I think you'll do better than the Ruskeydoo work. When we've played against you and them, I think, well, we'll talk about them in a minute, but I think you're better than them. So
yeah,
you
well,
could
we played...
have an outside chance of getting in the playoffs.
Okay, so, well, good
We
way of
played-
tying this into another team is...
Yeah, we played Legolas in our first game.
Yeah, and we can kind of talk about Legolas now.
Yeah.
Well, we can at least talk about the results first. It was like basically a stomp from It's All Good. Like it was awful. How many med picks did Inso get?
I think he had 12.
Did then I think if I remember correctly, Inso
Wow.
then asked Skeege to upload his POV to ETF2L.
I think no, he wanted. I think he wanted to watch Skeege's stream, but I think he just had typed it in wrong.
Okay.
He wanted to see it. Yeah.
It's pretty harsh.
Oh yeah, Candace calling me out on our defeat to Killswitch on process yesterday. He said that I did drop 6 or 7 times.
Was it really
so-
6 or 7 times? Jesus, Bulow.
That's
Six
nothing.
or seven- so
That's
probably
nothing with me.
6 or 7, maybe 8. I don't know. It was something like that.
I just lost count.
I'm checking logs now.
Oh no, the problem is that this is another hilarious thing. The config was completely broken, because like every time somebody capped, like the game ended. So like we had to keep like manually setting the time left and stuff like that. There, it was really ridiculous. So there's like 5 different logs.
Okay, well I've counted 5 drops up to now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you dropped a total of 7 times.
7. That's not bad.
Yes, 7.
7. That's like
Just, wait,
7
that's
and
not
7.
that's not
like
dying
1/7.
7 times. That's dropping 7
That's
Dropping
times.
an
dropping
Uber
the
7
Uber.
times,
That's
yeah.
having the Uber.
Ah.
That's not
It-
bad for Bulow.
Yeah, I was satisfied with my performance. 7 times, exactly. So,
Well- Well, I don't think dropping's such a bad thing. I think if the question is risk a drop or have a shit Uber that does nothing, risk the drop. So
that's,
you know,
Yeah, but-
that's my way of thinking about it. And generally, the
That's
times when I
bullshit.
no, it is. Generally, the times when I dropped was whenever we were pushing into second or last. So I don't see that as game losing. That's the point.
That's just not round winning in a
but
in a
Killswitch
game that
are
went to a
good
golden
team. You
cap.
need to make
Did
the
you-
Uber. You need to make the Uber work.
Did you
as
drop
hard as you can.
to snipers, spies, or soldiers, or did you drop to pyros and engineers?
Flag guns.
Or rollers?
headies.
It was mostly sticky traps that weren't actually called by
Have you-
people.
Have you
Pretty,
ever watched?
pretty good.
Have you ever watched something like the season 6 UGC Platinum Finals in North America between Gangster Gang Gaming and Looking Handsome, and the medics in a gully wash match? Both of them died something like 35 times, and they all died and dropped Ubers to everything, like literally everything you can think of. They died and
The
dropped
game
Uber
sounds
to it.
fucking amazing.
It's on YouTube somewhere. It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like rollers just flying over the map and medics just being oblivious to them. Not that I'm going to call out my 2 favourite medics.
But yeah, anyway, back to Legolas, who we completely stopped speaking about quickly. We should go through the roster quickly. I'll load up the roster from
What I
the
would say is-
status.
It'll be awkward because they all switch classes before, like
Yeah.
in the second round, between the first and second round.
Yeah, they had Ashken on Spy on one of the rounds and then Pyro on the next, for example.
Wait, they actually played
Wow.
a match?
Yeah, they played
Legolas
against
played
It's All
against
Good.
us. Yeah.
Oh, did you win?
This is
Yeah.
this is where Skeege died to a Spy 12 times.
Okay.
I think like 6 of those were drops as well. It was nuts.
Doesn't
Anyway.
Skeege post a lot on the forums about how he doesn't like Highlander?
I don't know. He's been leading Legolas for a while now. Although, although we really should speak about the actual the matches and the roster and stuff like that, I want to bring up this story first. So, does anyone else know the story of how? Well, I've told the story a ton of times. I'm guessing people have. How Legolas got the name Legolas when they used to be named MacLeod's daughters.
I remember it was something to do with an admin decision because they used to be called Legolas stole our points off. They got deducted.
Yeah. So, MacLeod's daughters, aka Legolas, back in the day, they were called MacLeod's daughters. They were playing against Parrot Gapers, and the game was over, whatever. And had to report scores. And Legolas were like, "Yo, can you report scores, Gapers?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" This was season 3, I'm gonna
I
say.
think it was 2 or 3.
It was
Yeah,
season
something like
3, or like upwards or something like that.
Yeah, and the thing was, Legolas actually had screenshots, but they just relied on Parrot Gapers to upload it. And Parrot Gapers realized later that they didn't have screenshots, so they uploaded pictures of Legolas as their status screenshot and their map screenshots. And the thing was, at this point, MacLeod's were already on 2 minor warnings, and a major warning, which is 3 minor warnings, gives you a point deducted. And so they played against. So they got their point deducted from this bullshit, basically.
How did Legolas get a point deducted when Parrot Gapers put up the pictures
So-
of
Because
Legolas?
both teams
Yeah,
get
both teams get punished for it.
Because anybody can add.
Okay.
Man,
fair
And
enough.
then,
yeah.
and then MacLeod's were like, "Hey, can we upload them afterwards, and will the point get removed?" And they were like, "No, sorry." So they got a point deducted, which in the end meant that they had to play a 3rd or 4th place playoff against Parrot Gapers, who were 4th, because they were on equal points. And they lost that playoff, meaning they lost out. And I think it was like, how much? Hildreth, was it like season 3?
It probably wasn't that much.
It was quite a lot, I think. Season
It was
3.
the opportunity, moreover, to
play-
get into the final.
Yeah, like 3rd place. It was, I think it was like €350 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is significant still, to be honest. So yeah,
Over a
they lost
picture
out
of
on.
Legolas.
Yeah, over a picture of Legolas, they lost out on €350. And it wasn't even their fault too. They
It wasn't
even
even
tried
fault,
to remedy it.
which is the best part of the story. But they're good
It's good
sports.
stuff.
They're good sports for making it into a joke. So well done
They
there.
did get 2 minor warnings for probably being late and not scheduling, so maybe it was their fault. This is the hardline admin
No.
coming in. That one wasn't their fault though, it was harsh.
Very
Very
harsh.
as well.
It's hilarious.
I had
Like,
nothing to do with the decision at all, because I didn't even know the story until now.
Okay, it's pretty good anyway. But yeah, so let's go through the roster quickly. The classes that will stay the same most of the time, I think, will be Ty, Thy, on Demoman. I had to spell his name because most people think of it as Thai. But yeah, we should probably speak in more length about the actual people who are going to be on this, like a static class rather than switching it up, because they're like the people who are actually worth talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You sure
Ty,
Mighty Me won't play? Demo?
he will play heavy, I think, if he plays. He was playing heavy for them in season.
It's more active
3.
than Ty.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, Ty, who I think he plays for Reason Gaming now, I guess, because he's got the R in front of his name and he has a R logo. Used to play TF2, kind of stopped and then moved on to like professional Shoot Mania, and is actually apparently really good in Shoot Mania. But yeah, now he's kind of like playing TF2 when he's called
It's
upon.
a
But
shame no one plays that game though.
yeah, well, there was still decent-ish money in it, more than in TF2. But yeah, yeah, he's playing them for them, as from what I've seen. They had Ski John Medic, of course, who we'd already spoke about from his 12 Deaths to a Spy. Cello in the chat, by the way, says that last time he saw Skeej was on Skeej's POV on Badwater, where he gets headshot by Inso, and then just says shit game mode, just shit game mode. It's pretty good.
In fairness, playing medic in
It's
Highlander
frustrating
mixed
as
team
hell.
is really bad.
He
and not very
probably
fun.
walked into a sightline and
Probably.
didn't even
Well,
think about it.
Inso headshot him with the ambassador, so
Okay.
probably not.
But yeah, other than that, they've got Zyzo on NG.
Hero. Zyzo's a hero.
Why is that? Because he's smoked a bunch of your games, or
Hey, he's on our UGC roster.
He's been around, he's old school.
He's
Yeah,
old
he's pretty
school.
old
That's
school.
why he's a hero.
Yeah. This guy's been around
And he
since
has a
the dawn of
genuine
time.
love of the game. Like, he enjoys playing TF2.
Yep.
Even when he's playing heavy in a pub.
Yeah, they have
Hey,
Tacoma.
what's wrong with playing heavy in a pub?
Mm.
I fucking love pubbing heavy.
You don't play pub heavy ever. You play shotgun heavy when you play
I
heavy.
play Fat Scout. That's still
Yeah, I
kind of
guess.
heavy.
Yeah. Anyway, So yeah, they're like the main people.
Yeah, Big Homer was playing
He was
Sniper.
playing Sniper.
Yeah.
He switched to Spy like on round 2, didn't he? Though.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like one of the non-static classes, but he's one of the guys that I expect to see around a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Big Homer's a really good player. I don't know if he actually plays all that much. I don't even know if he plays sixes
He
anymore.
told me he was inactive because he was one of the early players that I tried to pick up for my team. He's
Yeah.
going to be not very active this season.
But who's?
Well, no, I mean that's just what he said to you, Hildreth. He might have been like,
Yeah, he didn't want to
No,
yeah,
I'm
I'm
watching
not,
ahead.
I'm not really playing this. Dodge that bullet.
So then he goes and plays for the worst team in Prem. Oh, there we go, I said it. I said it. It's out
Yeah,
there.
we should get onto that though.
We should talk about Ashcan just being a fucking legend.
Yeah, actually, cool guy.
Ashcan, another
He is
legend.
one of the
He's such a
people-
legend.
He's one of the people who's done the most for TF2, and if you don't know who he is, just mark the name Ashcan, and if you ever see him, be like, thank you, Ashcan. You've done so much.
Yeah, he does all the scheduling for TF2 mix-up. He
Used to
did all
organise
the-
TF2, ETF2L even.
Yep, he did the big Highlander Cup challenge.
casts and everything.
I was say Hildreth,
Yep.
wasn't he your wingman when it came to creating European Highlander?
Oh, the ETF2L League, yeah, he was the one who actually even created this ETF. He's the one that lobbied because ETF2L didn't want to do a Highlander season, but he persuaded them to do it and then recruited me among a few other people to admin.
And we're all very thankful for it.
Yep.
Thank you, Ashcan, from the bottom of our hearts.
But yeah, we should actually speak about how we think they're going to do, because the first game was awful from what I saw. I was watching it, it was dreadful to watch. It just didn't look...
I just think they're going to have a very hard time, given that they probably won't play that much, and the teams that have come up are, as we said, they're all old and dedicated, and have played a lot of Highlander.
Yeah,
and
the other thing is as well, I think they're probably going to get the relegation, like just the straight relegation, not the relegation playoff, but the straight relegation, because I don't think they outclass Gapers on DM. So in terms of the DM teams, they're not good enough. And then in terms of the actual teams, I don't see... Who do they play in week 6? They play SNSD. Yeah, they're playing against SNSD on Lakeside and Gullywash, and I don't see them outclassing SDS on Lakeside and Gullywash, even if they are kind of DM-friendly maps.
I'd be surprised if they beat SNSD on those, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'd be surprised they beat SNSD full stop.
I'd be surprised if
Well,
they pick up a game, to be honest. It sounds kind of harsh, but I don't know. I think they'll pick up a
that's still
round here
game.
and there.
That's still game against
That's
the
still
Parrot
game.
Games.
is the one.
Practice
They need
and
to
Legolas.
beat
That has to be
Gapers.
casted.
Jesus, it's going to be such a good game. But yeah, I don't see them I can see them picking up a round against like Suka doing work on Bomb Blitz or something like that, but I don't see them doing much this season, put it that way.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's that classy
Yeah.
cast recommendation is for
That
Legolas
is
to be
the-
relegated.
If
Classy
these
classed death toll.
if these teams practice though, Paragapers and
Oh yeah, if
Legolas,
they went
that
for
could
it.
be they
Oh,
could
yeah, of
be decent
course.
teams.
I
That
don't
could-
think they
If
will.
they stepped it up,
That's
then
the
yeah,
thing.
sure.
But
But
do we
that's
do
the
we
thing.
think that realistically, if they were to even start playing quite regularly right now, would there be enough time for them to make up for the deficit in terms of experience of playing together?
Well,
and
they've been
playing the new
beaten.
meta?
Like, you gotta remember, Legolas beat Killswitch in their a season.
That is true. Last season,
Season
I think-
4 playoffs.
Yeah.
I think
So-
the returns that you get from practice, right? There'll be this, if they started practicing now, there'd be a steep thing of when you start practicing and get the basic meta down,
Yeah.
that really gives you a massive boost, and then that kind of tails off. But
That's the thing. I think Paragapers have at least got that down to an extent, depending on who we put on certain classes. Because I mean, last season we put some people on Pyro who didn't know how to press mouse 2, for example. So, I mean,
That's a
it
problem.
depends. Yeah, I think most people on Gapers and Legolas are competent enough to have a basic understanding of how to play Highlander just from playing TF2.
Yeah.
Because they're all people who've played a ton of TF2. Not just a ton of 6v6, but a ton of TF2 on pubs and whatever else. So, I mean, they're missing some of the key things, but they're still... I wouldn't say they're bad, necessarily, if that makes sense.
Well, they're in Prem. They can't be bad. They're better than Ruskeydoo.
That's true.
oh,
All of
it's
them.
true.
Although, is that really saying
Did I-
much? Gotta get to that too.
By the way, I love how on this demo, like all the reload animations are wrong and like everything. Like there's a pyro who's shooting his degreaser
Yeah.
like a flare gun. So good. All these old demos.
Bizarre.
Oh, and is this back when you could throw the sandwich and eat it just by picking it up as heavy?
Yeah, this is how
Oh,
old this demo
classic.
is. Jesus.
Man, those
Anyway.
days.
Good. Wait a minute, is Old Grammar running the black box?
Ahead
Well,
of his time, man.
this predates Valen. Oh my god, this is like we're doing real historical research here, guys. This is awesome. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway.
Are we kind of done with Legolas? Are we kind of saying that?
Yeah, we've already kind of like
Yeah.
wrote them off,
Yeah.
to be honest. I mean, we've already
Okay,
like,
we've written off
sailed that ship.
Legolas.
But
Which-
Legolas, if any of you are listening to this is not like us writing you off. It is. But us writing you off is basically say, step it up, prove us
We
wrong.
want you to do
No,
that.
it's
Ooh,
us
great
right
stuff.
now, so yeah, I think you're done. Yeah, over.
Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, let's move on to.
So we've got the final two teams, which are Killswitch and Suki doing work.
Who first?
Let's go with. Who are you feeling?
So Suki got promoted first place last season.
Yeah, we'll
that's
go
true.
with that. So Suki doing work got promoted last season ahead of Killswitch, and I think it pretty much hinged on.
I think the incestuous tea drinking redneck should speak about it.
Wait, are you on about me?
That's
trying
what
to-
Dempsey called you, isn't it?
The incestuous tea.
No, you called you inbred actually. Inbred tea drinking redneck. That was it.
It's the same thing, technically.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
A tea drinking
be fair.
redneck.
Yeah, that's what we call him.
No,
Does
It
that-
might have
no,
been because I may have said some mean things about him.
So what you're
no,
saying
the
is he
redneck-
deserved it.
The redneck thing, by the way, just before we lose it, is because obviously whenever in colonial times when the white Englishmen came over to like Africa and India, their necks just
I
Red
thought they were
red from the
called
sun.
redcoats. Oh,
when they're
oh,
red
red-
coats
oh,
with the military.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes, proceed.
Talk about Suki doing work.
yeah,
Well,
let's go through
he's-
the roster
he's-
quickly first.
Dempsey's
just as
not
a-
even playing anymore, is he?
Yeah,
'Cause they
he's
had
not.
the topic
He
up
did,
their
no,
way.
Dempsey does play because obviously Dempsey's kind of like one of the founder members of that team. I think he doesn't want to play all that much, but obviously he's talented enough that he can play many classes and knows the team inside out. So I think he will play.
Good one. Good one.
I like
I'd
Dempsey.
love to point out
Whoa.
that Suki won't be actually able to play many games this
Here it
season.
comes.
Oh.
The irony, of course, because he's actually doing work, so he
He's
can't
literally
play.
doing work. He can't
He's,
do
he's
work.
literally doing work.
So they have Granger Bob, don't they, on Spy? Is that
Premiership Bob played last
Premiership Bob.
in the first
Can
Premiership
we call? Yeah, good.
Premiership Bob. But I've been talking to Quell, and Quell says that Suki will be back, which is great for me because
He said apparently Granger Bob's being mains by a week from now, so Suki's back for a week.
yeah,
and then
Suki is
he's
back
gone.
just to play against me. Me and Suki, we've got some history. He likes to basically lurk outside spawn for me. He has killed me outside spawns more times than I've had hot dinners. Like seriously, he just sits there. One of the best games we had. We beat doing work on Barn Blitz on Warplay last season, and I watched back his stream, and he must have spent a good 10 minutes sat outside spawn, like cumulatively sat outside spawn waiting to backstab me, and he didn't get me. So let that be a lesson to you, Suki. I'm smarter now. You won't get me anymore like that. I'll look
Whenever I
both
walk
ways.
out those doors, I look left and right.
I look
So,
left
yeah.
and right, not just right.
It's a miracle
Rough.
you never got run over before today.
Rosters.
Rosters,
Scout
rosters.
is Issen. Soldier is. Let me see. Soldier's Limp, of course. Pyro is Quell. Demo is. They switch up Demo. Up to now, I've seen it being
Atomic.
Yep.
Atomic has been playing, I think, recently, but obviously IRFX, you'd kind of thought he would be the one doing it, because he was playing heavy for them in UC quite recently. He was playing heavy, and Dempsey was playing Demoman.
Yeah, they had this weird mix-up basically where they had Dempsey, Atomic, IRFX, and Pidox in this pool of 4 people basically, and they'd have Pidox only played heavy, so that was the only option for him. Atomic only played demo, so that was the only option for him. But then they'd have like Dempsey and RFX filling in for heavy or demo, depending. Like both of them could play either class, so they just switched it up.
Oh,
It's really weird.
apparently RFX always has like 200 ping, which is understandable
Nice.
given he's from Russia. But that's a big blow for them because like RFX,
That's problematic.
he called. I
He's-
mean, he did a lot of calling, and he's very good.
He's really good at multi-classing.
Yeah.
Although he was a former ETF2L admin, and they would normally be suggestions badly thought out with no real insight, and everyone would ignore him. Then he left the admin team.
Nice. It's a good story.
Good story.
But yeah, so
he's good though. Good player.
So yeah, it looks like it's going to be.
If Pidox is playing on heavy, like that's
Pidox
a real
is main
downgrade.
heavy
Like,
now.
Pidox is really great heavy.
I think it's an upgrade, to be honest. Once again, like Pidox is, he actually plays the class, like he's dedicated to the class.
That's his main.
Yeah.
But obviously, what they do lose is that Pidox. I mean, for all his strengths on heavy, he's not really a main caller in the same way that RFX was. And I know that because Ruskeydoo Work won the last proper season of UGC, and part of that was because they picked up RFX towards the end of the season. Like they're kind of middling around, not really doing much, because they were having a lot of roster issues. Then they picked up RFX, and I know that like he started like doing a lot of the main calling and stuff, and like it really improved them, like quite evidently. So losing him and losing Dempsey, like that's quite a big change in terms of like how their combos going to be played.
But yeah, it looks like it's going to be Atomic on demo and Pidox on heavy as their main classes. Yeah. Maybe it'll be switched up, but that's what it looks like. Is they're like maybe they'll switch it up like every game once again, but that looks like what it's going to be.
Obviously, they'll want as much fluency. You're sticking with it as much as possible, so that they learn to play together. But that's what we just don't know.
That didn't stop them from switching up though before, so.
Yeah, but this is Prem now. This matters more.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, NG will be Foxy Dave, who.
This is the perfect time. This is perfect time to mention TF2 Center, I think, briefly.
Yeah, that's true.
About how great it is. Foxy's been working on that.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the potential it has. It had 1 day of beta when they were planning to have the beta going live sometime in the new year, but then TF2 lobby was down, and someone at TF2 Center was a bit savvy and was like, hang on a minute, TF2 lobby's down, so if we like run a beta right now at TF2 Center, we have a massive captive audience who don't have anything else to use, which is a very sensible decision. For a long day, so that Euro Arica could try it and get some data in on it, and yeah, it was really good. They had a lot of really nice features. Their plan and what they want to do is when they first go live with it properly, they want it to have at least all of the features that lobby does and some extras, so that it's at least as good as lobby. And for the time that I played on it, it was better than lobby.
Although is that just because of the crowd they brought in, though?
Maybe to some extent the crowd they brought in, but some of the features were lovely. Like they really encourage people to have mumble. So you know how with lobby it kind of sets up a server and it connects you to the server. Well, TF2 Center sets up a server, connects you to the server. It sets up a mumble and puts you in that mumble with your name and what class you are next to your name in the right mumble channel. It's really nicely done. Yeah, it when you see it, you're like, what, they can do that? That's slick. I like it. What else do they have? They have a nice thing where if people don't turn up for the game, then their subs are requested automatically, which is great.
It's good.
And they also have this thing where before, just like, you know, in lobby where everyone readies up and someone will be off making a cup of tea, but they'll be readied up and they'll be joining into the game and they're there, but they're not there. And it's like, well, what the fuck are we going to do with this? With Center, they have this thing where once everyone's there and everyone's readied up, they're the thing which is just like, are you really there? Press the button. And you press the button and then it launches. And if you fail to press that button to say you're really there because we're launching, then you get moved to spec. And you can join again if you get there in time, but if someone else is there and just wants to play, then bam, that lobby flies, which is good.
Cool.
Yeah, and if nothing else, right, just one final thing on it. Okay. They have an active team who are listening to feedback and wanting to improve it, which is going to make it better than lobby. It's just going to make it better than lobby because there's people who are programming and giving a shit about it. So there we go. And the connection there was that Foxy is involved with TF2 Center.
Yeah, he's like the...
See, I'm bringing it back.
Okay,
bringing it back.
Yeah.
We can tell you're a professional.
There's
exactly all those segues.
There's that guy. Yep. I was going to say something else about him, but I guess that's enough now.
Who's that guy?
No. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it.
No, go on. Is this
there's muffins-
drama?
No, it was never mind. There's Jesus Christ. There's muffins on medic, who is, I guess
UGC All-Star.
UGC All Star. There's that. I think she's also the only girl in Prem. I'm gonna say. And I guess.
Well, why
I'm
do you
looking
bring
at
that
it
up? Why
now.
does that matter, Bulow?
Because it's unique.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not saying it because it's like
TF2
anything else,
Highlander
'Cause you're
is a
autistic, yeah.
horrendous sausage fest. There's no two ways about it.
To be
Yeah, well,
fair,
it doesn't matter, to be honest. It's online. Who cares? But
Um,
it's still
It matters in the fact that it's a shame, and I mean, this is something I don't want to get into massively, but the
Obviously there's
TF2
a
community
bad culture around
is
it. And...
really, really shit. Like, it's
it
really
is
fucking
pretty
sexist.
bad.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, if you're in the TF2 comp community and sexist, be ashamed of yourself. Carry on.
But yeah, anyway, so I won't go into any more about that then, apparently.
Muffins is good. Muffins is a good medic.
Yeah, she's a good medic.
Yeah.
Sniper, there is...
Oh, this is the big class.
There's
Babs.
Jude.
It's Jude. Hey, Jude.
Yep. And then we'll go back to that in a sec, assuming by the sounds of things. And then we'll have...
I think the only person we haven't mentioned yet is Quell on Pyro.
Oh, did we not?
We
guess
didn't
we
mention
didn't.
Big
Okay,
Bad
yeah.
Quell.
So yeah, there's Quell and Pyro, who's definitely worth mentioning. I mean,
He's pretty good.
kind of the pushing force behind the team, I'd say, in the way that he is the most active around the scene and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he's
Quell's-
kind of organising their
Quell's pretty
games
cool.
now too. But yeah, and then there's Granger Bob on Spy. But yeah, so they've already played one game against Kill Switch, which we'll get back to, but they lost that game.
So we're talking. Do we want Hildreth to talk about Jude right now?
Yeah, we can have. Why not?
It's not necessarily Jude, it's the guy that they had before Jude who
Yeah,
is just so good. That
making
sniper.
comparisons.
Yeah.
I can't
Fair.
remember his name, Mr. Rev.
Mr.
or
Rev.
something?
Mr.
Yeah,
Rev.
Mr. Rev.
He was
Mr. Rev is
so
very
good
good.
at sniper.
Yep.
Either he hacked or he was ridiculously good. That's how good he was.
Oh,
was
okay.
he was
Never
legit.
mind. I saw on his profile this user has been banned, and then I read that apparently he's been banned from the forums and comments. This ban will not expire. So he's been perma-banned from the forums, which is a good start.
Mr. Rev or Jude? I think you
Mr.
mean
Rev.
Mr. Rev.
Now
I heard
Jude,
Mr. Go for it.
this Jude guy,
He's not finished, by the way. Hold on.
I
Who,
believe
Mr.
he's
Rev?
been around in like sixism for a while, but he's no replacement for that guy.
Mhm.
We've gone from having who'd probably be one of the better snipers in Prem to having one of the weaker
The
ones.
only snipers I've seen outsnipe Mr. Rev in the past were Ruhi, of course, because pretty much everyone knows Ruhi. Ex-CS player and just really, really good, basically. And then we used to have Furbo, in Season 9 we had Furbo playing sniper for us, and he outsniped him in at least some of the games. we
Furbo
played
is
against him.
ridiculous though.
Yeah, Furbo's insane at sniper, to be honest.
But he's Mr. Rev is insanely good. I'd go far as to say he carried their whole team.
Yeah.
But now
So-
without him, they don't really have like a high deathmatching talent other than on their pyro. Pyro.
Well, I mean, Issun's clearly a very good scout.
Yeah, he's decent, but you got to think of all the other scouts that are in Prem. Even the teams like Paragapers and Legolas who aren't going to practice are going to have Prem scouts. In
Yeah, it's
66.
And
So my impression playing them, we scrimmed them a few days ago, was they were a lot less organised. They didn't really have like a standout player at all on their team, and it just felt like when we played against them that they just made more mistakes, and we could punish them better than the mistakes we made. They couldn't punish.
it is poignant to say that although I couldn't play, Chess Club beat them on Monday in UGC. So that's a Div 1 team beating a Prem team right there. Wow.
Yeah, on process, and yeah, I mean Suki haven't exactly been playing all that well in UGC.
They were
but
the most successful team of like whatever 6 months ago. They won Div 1, they won
Yeah,
UGC.
they were flying back then, but
Once again, they
is
did
it
have...
just Mr. Rev? Is losing him? Is that
Well,
what
they've also
has...
lost a few of their other players as well.
In fairness, I don't think they've lost anybody who really played main for any of them, apart from as you said, talked about their combo, and I think War Metal played quite a lot of their ETF2L games last season as well on Sniper, so it wasn't just Mr. Rev. But I think pretty sure Mr. Rev played a lot of their games in UGC whenever they won
But
that.
a lot of people are pegging Jude to be the weakest sniper in Prem. Okay, I'm not even sure, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't pass that judgment just because I'm not sure. Maybe that's true, but I don't know. But yeah,
Well, Problem outsniped him, so he must be bad.
Oh no, no.
Step it up,
Problem.
Dearly
for
me.
fuck's sake. Nah.
but yeah. So there's a big disparity there, basically.
I think they will come 7th or 6th.
7th, really?
I think
That's
Gapers. I think
okay,
the
that's
Bobbler.
true.
Because
You believe-
Paragaper's like Highlander for fun is an insane scout. He will carry
Yeah,
any
indeed.
team. Doesn't matter if he plays Highlander or not. He's insane.
Yep. Like up to now, when we've been trying to schedule, our rules are: we check if Kyler can play. If me and Hornton can play as well, then we check if he and Stark can play, and then if we can, we just schedule it regardless of whether our medic can play or not. Like, we don't care about the important classes, we just care about the certain players being able to make it.
Yeah, if Gubbins snipes well in that game, you guys will probably. I think you can beat them.
As long as Gubbins isn't
That's
drunk.
me.
He was drunk for our game against Stereo too. It's pretty awkward. But yeah, back to Duke New Work anyway.
Well, basically, should we talk about Kill Switch first, or should we talk about the game as a way to transition?
We'll talk about the game, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know if anybody else has watched the game, but it was
Yeah, I watched
actually it was quite intense, really, because the first 2 rounds were both 6-minute times. Like Kill Switch set like a 6-minute time, like 6 minutes 30 or something like that, like really fast. And then Ruskeydoo Work just beat it, right? And then kind of the reverse happened in the second round, like Ruskeydoo Work set like a 6-minute time, and then this time Kill Switch like got like beat that time as well. And then finally, the final round.
In the
was
third
like-
round, where it's worth mentioning before this, the third round is the round that Emilio told me he thinks that Killswitch played the worst. So this is the deciding
I would
round.
agree. I would completely agree. I mean, if you get a 6-minute time, you play well, and like the point is, if you're playing like a 6-minute round, like the margins of error are so small because you've only got it's only 6 minutes.
Mhm.
Whereas in the final round was 12 minutes long, was it? It was like twice as long
Yep.
at least. Basically because both teams were able to get a stronghold on third, rather than like completely bypassing it, which is what happened last time in the first 2 rounds. But yeah, I would say that Killswitch were lucky to win that final round, really, because they had set this awful time, like 12 minutes, and then they were able to hold. They held it, and like they were holding it really, really strong for, almost all of it for the 11 minutes, and then they kind of got wiped on last, and Ruskeydoo were like just pushing the car in. Like they had there's only 3 up, like in the basin, but then like Emilio got top spawn. And was able to just come out and blow everybody off the cart. Whereas if he had got him lower spawn or whatever, it would have been much more difficult to
Yes.
get out and do anything.
Honestly, spawns is a really I don't know why
It's
everyone
huge,
looks to
isn't it?
Badwater for such a everyone looks at Badwater and says it's the the most balanced map. It's the probably the best map. Blah blah blah. Which I guess is kind of true, but having 2 spawns on a last like that is just not good.
Yeah, it's
bit
horrible,
random.
isn't it?
The other thing about that is Emilio, actually, thank you for bringing this to my attention, Emilio. What, you're spamming over the 3rd point? Like, that's the most OP thing ever on Badwater.
Oh, that's
It's
the best
crazy,
thing
isn't it?
ever.
Because I was like, I just saw it happen, I was like, oh, well, this is easy, I'll just do this from now on. And then I'm just like, 10 million kills, thank you.
Oh, it was one of the
Don't even
funniest
have
things.
to be good at the game.
One of the funniest things I've seen was SNSD were playing against Killswitch on Badwater, and Emilio was doing his standard thing of just spamming those pipes over high skill demo class, and he dropped Hat, or he killed Hat when he was really high, and Hat was just really, really confused because no one had ever spammed him over the top of that point. He had no idea what was going on.
He just couldn't work it out.
He did the exact same thing. I think he lost his YouTube account now, so I don't know if I'll be able to find the video. But he did the exact same thing against the Soccer a while back, and they'd never seen that as well. It's just so crazy how you could not find that.
That's one of the things they need to fix. But it's a good, best map. But what does this have to do with Killswitch being probably the best? Well, I like to think that my team is the best new team to Prem, but excluding my team,
Well, in terms of current form,
Yeah,
you would have to say that they're the best, and they've got their strongest lineup now.
yeah, they've improved their roster so much, which we haven't even talked about. They've got an Indian sniper who hacks or something.
K-Cart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't really talk about that
Well,
yet.
Okay, it's not that he hacks, it's that he's got this crazy ping, which, for a sniper, is...
Disguises as hacks, yeah, we get it.
Well,
Basically.
But he's really good at the game, and then they've consistently improved their roster kill switch. Like, a lot of teams have been like having lineup problems, like Ruskeydoo and Work have had lineup problems, but they haven't really got the replacements. But kill switch, all of their replacements, like their new players, are so good. If that is as if Sad Panda is playing a heavy now.
Yeah,
like-
looks like it.
Until he deletes
what's the
everyone from
story
his
there,
friends
Hildreth?
list.
You
Yeah.
named your team after Sad Panda. He
Mm.
leaves your team because
Well, no,
he's
he
quitting
didn't name the team
competitive.
after Sad Panda exactly, because I mean,
you know what
Hildreth
my-
has had some weird fetish with pandas for the past like 2 years.
Do not know what my sixth team was called before Deserto.
No.
It was for called Furbet Pandas, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so not named after Panda then.
But he does like pandas. That's how we got on with each other. That was
A
Jesus
bond over
Christ.
that's how we
Panda
bonded.
appreciation.
But
Panda.
true TF2 romance.
Over
But then-
these giant, fat, bamboo-eating pandas.
But then he
They're lazy as hell as well. Anyway,
we-
carry on.
Yeah, but when we started, Sad Panda was like heard about an opportunity to play in the team with me, and then he was like excited, and then we had like a month where we didn't play much Highlander at all because of I-49 coming up, and he didn't play with us for like a month. And then one evening, I was just starting to get organised to Highlander again. So okay, let's go organise a scrim. Let's find Sad Panda on my friends list. Oh, he's not there anymore. What's
Well,
happened?
a whirlwind
okay,
romance.
so just to like cut this a bit short, Tober in the chat has already said, I'm guessing he got drunk and removed all of his friends for the third
Yes.
time. So he already jumped to the conclusion
No,
that that
no,
was the reason.
not third time. I've heard this is like the
Sixth.
sixth or something.
Yeah, I talked
Yeah.
to somebody star Mia, and Mia was like, "Wait, oh, he's deleted all of his friends again. Yeah, this is the sixth time he's done this to me in like a year." Like,
So
okay.
yeah,
Maybe he really is a sad panda.
Oh,
He's a
if
bit
you're
of
out
a
there, Sad Panda, we just want you to get better.
well.
wow, Jesus.
He's not
They
going
treat
near
my
my
coach
team.
best.
He's not going near my team again. That's what I'm saying. Didn't need players like that.
Fair enough. But yeah, so yeah, he's on heavy for them again. Although, you know, he may be a bit unstable by the sounds of things, he's
so good. He's
Definitely
really good.
very
He's
good.
really good, and moreover, he has played with Emilio like for ages now, and like that's the thing that you know. I could tell you what the Killswitch team will be. They've picked up good players as presumably as backups and things, but you kind of know what their set team is going to be, and I think that's one of their great strengths. Is that kind of like Highpander, they kind of know what they're doing because of the experience of playing together, and because everybody kind of knows to listen to what Emilio's saying. So they play the way he wants them to, and that's obviously really effective for them.
To listen to Emilio say, just DM it.
But they do it in a way that works. Quite
When
evidently.
we played them, they surprised us so much with their aggression.
Yeah,
yeah, they're
indeed.
really
When you
aggressive.
play
Just
against
because Emilio is really good at calling the aggression, mostly.
When you play against a team like SNSD, you expect they'll be aggressive. When you, in the past, historically, you play against teams like It's All Good, Killswitch, you'll think that they'll just be given too much respect when they don't need to. But then they're
It's
just
not
like,
even about respect, it's about just giving space without having to.
yeah,
Just the assumption that they don't have the ability to contest something, which they definitely do.
that's I guess-
Candle's saying in the chat, by the way, that Jamal is going to be there, main heavy.
Wow, okay. Well,
Of course,
Not-
Candle is a recent pickup for.
Who played against us?
Killswitch.
Sad Panda playing against us.
I mean, this is the thing. Sad Panda played against us yesterday as well, so I don't know. Maybe he's just playing a lot recently and will be transitioned out again. But yeah, as I said, they picked up Candle to replace Unbreakable because I think he has a lot of. Did he? Really, Emilio? Okay, apparently Jamal played yesterday. So there you
okay, anyway.
go. Anyway, as I said, they picked up Candle to replace Unbreakable. Well done, Candle. You're in Prem now.
Well, he was in Prem, but then...
Is
There-
Candle the guy that like made a frag clip about him killing Stabby against Team USA, where he just sat there by the medic for Croatia as their team were getting spawn raped and just sat there by the boat
Yeah, that
flaming.
sounds
It's
like-
like, oh, I killed Stabby.
That sounds
He
like
killed,
a guy.
he killed the Stabby though. He sounds confused in the stream chat though. So
Well, he is. He
maybe
does
not.
play for. He plays Pyro for Croatia, though. I assume. So I'm guessing it is. And they're not quite. So yeah, basically, yeah.
So basically,
Anyway.
yeah. Okay. Well done, Candle. You killed the Stabby as his hard counter class. Well done. We're all proud of you.
Should probably kind of move on or like speed it up a bit.
Yeah, we need to
Okay.
send this.
But yeah. So
Okay,
yeah, we'll
Mint
skip the
is
whole
definitely
roster
worth mentioning because he is an
Oh, yeah,
amazing
indeed.
engineer. He does so much work.
thing. Yep. I'd say the standout players are Emilio for his like most of his calling, and unlike most Highlander Demoman, he knows how to play Demoman as well as being able to call well and understanding the game, which is a big thing, to be honest. It sounds silly to say it's a Highlander player that knows how to play knows how to DM, but it kind of is worth mentioning on Demoman. Other than that, yeah, Mint's the other guy I'd definitely say is a standout player. Since we've already kind of gone through K-Cot, their sniper. But yeah, Mint's good. Someone else can kind of
Mint's so good that he plays for 3 different teams.
yeah, indeed. He's one of the standout engineers, basically. I'd say there isn't really many people you can point as like standout engineers, but yeah, he
Yeah,
consistently
Mint is definitely I'd play one of them.
yeah he consistently like puts out more kills, more damage, and does the basic engineer stuff as well as that, which is, I mean, it's the same as Pyro really. Like if you do the basics, then it's about how much you can do on top of that.
Yeah.
And he does a lot on top of that.
Yeah.
Which is what makes him a stand-up player.
Well, this is again like just yesterday. Whenever we were playing, we had like 100% Uber advantage on process last. We were going to push in, but all of our flank were being tied up by Min in sewers with like 1 mini sentry. He killed like 6 people on his own. That might say more about us than it says about Min, but
yeah,
he was there and he did it. So hats off to Min.
but yeah, in
With-
terms of sorry.
So I'm just gonna say, right, so we have a like drama quotient, right, and like the rage quit quotient. I'm gonna say that to flip that around, K-Cot is the person most likely to cause other people to rage and quit Prem,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
without a doubt.
Seems fair. But yeah, it's kind of go on to Killswitch's results now, because we've kind of gone through roster like very briefly. Like,
Oh,
didn't
well,
really
we can talk
the
about
flank or
Ellie Man
anything,
just
but-
finally.
Oh, yeah, of
Ellie
course.
Man is really good spy.
Yeah,
And,
I'd say probably the best buy. But that's
I
that's probably just because he gets me all the time.
I'd say he's very good. I'd say sometimes like I don't want to say he's inconsistent or whatever, but all I'd say is there's like 1 or 2 games where he has absolutely like destroyed us, and then like 1 or 2 games where he's like not really done all that much at all. But yeah, I'd say he's definitely one of the best in Europe right now.
It depends if he sticks with the team, though, because I remember hearing some drama basically about Unbreakable leaving the team / being kicked. It's not my place to say. And then Elliman, because they're real life friends, and Ukraine.
Oh, are they? Okay,
but
I
he's,
was
well, I
just
assume
curious,
I assume they're real life friends. I think
Well,
Amelia
because
said this to me
Ukraine's
before.
such a small country with like 40 million people in it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
You're
saying I'm
such a
assuming they are.
racist. Okay, never mind. But yeah,
Anyway.
Snow's playing for them, which
As a backup.
yeah, I think Snow's on backup, but this guy's saying that Snow is maybe playing spy for them. I don't even know if that's true. Elliman played in the game against Suki doing work.
So Ellie Man's good. That's what I got out of this.
Yeah,
I
TLDR,
know.
Element's good. Depends if he sticks with the game or
And
not.
most importantly, Elliman trick stabbed Quail in the official, and it was caught live on camera in
That's
the
good.
cast of the game.
Beautiful.
It was only about 5 minutes in, so if you want to watch this brilliant
Loading it
RO,
up now.
I did
Just-
the quotation marks, by the way, in my head. You can see that in the cast.
Just mentioning that Snow's bench warming on this one, it reminds me of something where like this season there's a lot of really good players who are just bench warming. Like there's Funk, there's possibly Piddocks, we don't entirely know what's going on there. It's kind of weird, like loads of people who could be like first up on any team, but they're like just going along with, just subbing in for people, I guess.
Oh, Funk's on our roster. I just remember that. Great.
Jesus. Anyway, so kind of move on to the actual results of theirs now. their second wire play before the playoff stage. This is with all
Yeah.
games played. So they've already proven that they can take on most teams in wire play. I think they beat pretty much every team in wire play.
They
You see
beat
results?
every team in Warplay.
They just
They
dropped
just
points.
they dropped points, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they beat / drew with a lot of teams in wire play. They didn't actually lose any
Yeah.
games. They still ended up below Highpander just because Highpander got more convincing wins
What
when they
was it,
did
for
win.
example, whenever we played them on Steel, like we were in complete control, and then they turned it on. Like we thought we were going to do them. We were kind of surprised by this, and then they just they just turned it on and got the win in the end. But that was the point. They like dropped points against us. They dropped points against like Toba's team. Presumably they dropped points against 3-2. They dropped points against Highpander. But ultimately they've won all the games. So you'd say that
We were
They have
incredibly
momentum.
lucky not to lose process to them as well. But they
Although
were-
you do have to. It sounds silly bringing it up, but you do have to kind of factor in the fact that they're dropping points like that when their only game that we can look at from ETF2L up to now, they dropped points too.
yeah, that is a good point. Like,
that is, yeah, they're potentially one of the strongest teams that could even challenge for the title, in my opinion. But they've got to be more consistent. Like, Suki didn't work out. They don't strike me as a team that's going to be challenging, although they'll probably beat us now that I've said that.
Oh,
But they still drop points to them.
Yep.
On their day, they can beat anybody. Kill switch.
We've kind of gone through every team now.
Div 1? No.
God, how long
Fanny,
have
do
we
you
been
have
doing
work in
this?
the morning?
Like 2 hours.
Yeah, I think we call it quits now. We've kind of gone through the basics. Next time we actually do this, it shouldn't take 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever. So this will just be like, this is the whatever.
Well,
this is the
unless
first.
we
what's
want it to
happened.
take 3 hours. If
Well,
we
yeah,
ain't
we
got stuff
could,
to
but-
talk about, let's ramble,
Yeah. I'm up for that.
Yeah, we could, but I mean,
I mean, there's
we
only 18 people watching this, and I imagine 5 of them or everybody in this mumble. And
yeah.
then like that's about it.
Yeah, and plus
Pretty much.
Fanny has been playing DM for about 10 minutes with me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Jesus,
think
he's
Candle
still
is so
listening.
angry in the chat, by the way.
What?
Candle is like really madding in the chat, like
Yeah, because
after.
you
Look at
talking
this,
about
he'll just stab me as a shitter and there's no pride in killing him.
What?
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah.
Oh.
The pirate
probably-
names. Don't
let's try and wrap
fuck
it up
with
anyway, I
ego.
guess.
So, someone asks in the chat, what can we expect in the future from the Classy cast? Probably nothing.
Um,
Expect
More
nothing.
class.
More rambling bullshit when we feel like it, essentially.
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't trash talk enough people.
It's okay
Yeah,
once
that's
the
true.
results come in. Like we've set it up. Everybody has
Whoa.
hope for this season.
Whoa,
Everybody has hope.
Hildreth. You managed to make someone rage quit the chat. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just an innocuous passing
Candle
comment.
does seem pretty angry, like from a passing comment. Jesus.
Because these pirate men, you can't really fuck with them.
But yeah, what can we expect? We'll do this whenever we feel like it. Okay, this is about us, not you.
Wow. Anyway, yeah. So
You'll just take what you get and you'll be fucking happy with it.
Exactly.
basically, what we're going to do is I don't think we'll be doing too many casts if we do any. But what we will be doing is we'll be doing these kind of shit chats every week, going through results and stuff. It shouldn't
I'd say
take...
I'm well up for doing casts if other people are around.
Yeah,
and,
me too.
You know,
60
I think-
seasons almost over.
I think this is going to be one of the things where we all say, yeah, we'd be willing to do it.
And then we just
nobody
bag it
ever
up.
does
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. Maybe.
But yeah, we'll probably do like weekly episodes of this. Probably much shorter than this.
Definitely. more in this.
Yeah, definitely much shorter than this. But yeah, that's about it really.
we're going to be like that uncle who you really love and he tells you he'll be there for Christmas, but something always comes up at the last minute and he never is.
That's kind of a sad note to end on, Rusky.
Yeah, no, Rusky, you should do one of your famed endings to the shows. I
What?
think
No.
last time you
Oh,
made
Christ.
people
I make people like, you know, just be like, oh god, we're depressed now. I can't even
Contemplate
remember
their lives.
what I was ranting about. Oh, it's about, you know, no, let's not even get there.
But yeah, Rusky, just do a quick ending then.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into this week's, month's, last penultimate episode of Classy Cast. I have been Ruskeydoo. We have had Bubblebobbler, Bulow, Hildreth, and of course the inimitable, I don't even really know what that means, Fanny on camera, or not on camera, playing MG in the background. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good time playing Highlander.